It's a warm and steamy Saturday night in Western New York for a little college football. The University at Buffalo Bulls hosting the Florida Atlantic University Owls in town looking for the upset. It's the final non-conference game of the season for both of these teams. Out of Conference USA, FAU, and out of the Mid-American Conference, it is the Buffalo Bulls. And welcome, everybody. Doug Sherman along with former Penn State Nittany Lion Tioka Jackson. So glad you could join us here tonight. And we've got an opportunity to get a feeling, to get a sense of one of the most polarizing people in all of football, Lane Kiffin.
Lane Kiffin. Look, FAU made a big splash when they hired Lane Kiffin. And he's played big dividends in three key ways. One, he's assembled a tremendous staff with SEC roots. Two, he quickly put together what many thought was the best recruiting class in 2017 in Conference USA, and he's doing it again in 2018. And last but not least, he brings sizzle to your campus. People are talking about FAU, and that kind of attention, Doug, is invaluable for an emerging program like Florida Atlantic. Now, DeAndre McNeil has taken to offensive coordinator Kendall Brow's up-tempo offense the way I take the pancakes. In other words, he loves them. He had 3 catches for 103 yards versus a really good Wisconsin secondary. He's the type of guy that UB needs to identify pre-snap on every single play.
And McNeil is a former Texas Longhorn, one of 9 transfers down from Power 5 schools Kiffin has brought in just in the last few months. Meanwhile, here at Buffalo, everybody's talking about the quarterback. He's a tall drink of water, 6'7", Tyree Jackson.
Prior to last season, UB never had a freshman throw for 300 yards in a game. Tyree shows up and does it twice last season. Coach Leipold told me it's not a question of if Tyree Jackson will be good, but when. And if you listen to Lane Kiffin, good is now. The guy's really good. He's big, strong, can run, throw the deep ball really well. I think the one thing he needs to improve is his completion percentage. Get that above 60% quickly and efficiently, and he'll go from good to elite.
All right, Tioka, put it all together. All of those things we just talked about, what are you looking at tonight?
I think we got 2 evenly matched teams. Both are 1-2. Took it on the chin their first 2 games of the season. Won big last week, both of them. They need to get to 2-2. Listen, a 2-game win streak going into conference play, that's going to be big. I think we're going to have a heck of a football game today.
Should be a good one. We'll take a break and come back with the opening kick. It's the FAU Owls against the Buffalo Bulls, and it's next. Tioka Jackson, I know you are a big man on campus when you go back to Penn State, but I'm not sure you can hold a candle to Lance Leipold when he goes back to Wisconsin Whitewater. Not only did he graduate back in '87 from there, he went back to his alma mater and led them to 6 Division III national championships. I said 6, and now he's trying to build the type of success here that he did at his alma mater.
Yeah, and he needs time to do that, and they're giving him time. I mean, clearly winning is winning. Football is football. Now, the whole key to any level of football is recruiting, and so he's starting to get the type of guys he wants. He's implementing his culture. They like to run the football. They're tough. They don't want to turn it over. They want to take it from the other team, and he's bringing that from Whitewater to Buffalo, and so far they're getting better every single week.
In 8 years at his alma mater, a record of 109-6. Now year number 3 at Buffalo, and after winning the toss, Buffalo chooses to receive and will take it out to the 25-yard line, where we will get underway. Drew Anderson, the backup quarterback. The starting quarterback, who we've talked about, of course, Tyree Jackson, 6'7", 245, from a tiny town south of Muskegon, Michigan. He went to Mona Shores High School and was a starting varsity quarterback in the 9th grade at the age of 13.
And led him to eventually to a state championship, if I'm not mistaken. This guy's a winner. He's young. Again, another guy who's getting better every single week. If you're going to get Buffalo and get to this guy, you better get him early. The rest of this season, you'll see him become a fine quarterback on his way to being a great quarterback.
And keep your eye on number 83, the wide receiver, as Buffalo starts the game on the ground. Emmanuel Reed gets the start and gets the first carry. Sophomore from Crestview, Florida, having to deal with an FAU defense. Coming off of a shutout last time out against Bethune-Cookman. They did not allow a thing, and the key in the middle is number 2, Aziz Al-Shayer, who has been dinged up, got hurt in that game against Bethune-Cookman, but he took all the warm-ups, most of the reps pregame, Tioka, and we are expecting to see him out there here today. Jacob Martinez on the pass catch from Tyree Jackson. Buffalo has its first down. Although as I look out there now, are you seeing El Shair, as we talk about first, the keys to the game?
Yeah, both teams like to run the football, but Buffalo needs to run the football really well to be really good on offense. And on defense, the Owls have struggled all year on third down. Buffalo cannot allow them to get started tonight defensively for Buffalo.
And you know what? It looks like Jose Barnwell is playing middle linebacker as Buffalo gashes them for another pickup down the right sideline. Tyler Mabry picks up another first down, move the chains, and the Bulls are on the move.
That's a big deal for this offense. They've got really good players on the outside, but Mabry is a guy who's underutilized, but is a heck of a football player at the tight end position. He's a matchup nightmare. He's too big for safeties, and he's too fast for wide receivers. This is a team that has had a lot of good tight ends in the past. It looks like Mabry, is the next one in the long line.
And Tyoka, we got a sense on that last pass, the arm Jackson had. Through a line drive. This time handed off up the middle. Into the second level goes Theo Anderson, the redshirt freshman from Largo, Florida. Another nice pickup on first down.
Back to those keys. We said that Buffalo needs to run the ball well in order to set up all their play action pass. And really, that's when Jackson becomes a nightmare at the quarterback position. But nice read option look, and the offensive line so far early is starting to dominate the line of scrimmage. If you're UB fan, you got to be excited about that. They got two really good players in O'Hagan. Up inside is one of them, and Brandon, number 61, the offensive guard on the left side. Very good player as well.
Quarterback draw, lowering his head after getting a first down, is Jackson. Well, we mentioned Aziz El Shair, the middle linebacker, terrific junior from Tampa. And again, he is available. You see he's in uniform, but he did not make the start tonight. Looks
like he wants to play. I mean, he has that look on his eye that he wants to play. He's got that body language. Look at him real close to the coach. Looks like just from body language and the way he's acting, being a former player, I know what that's like. I think we might end up seeing number 2, just not starting, but he's a heck of a football player. I hope we see him because he's fun to watch.
Well, he'll be lobbying the co-defensive coordinators, Chris Kiffin, the brother of Lane, and Corey Batoon, to get himself out there. Tyree Jackson lofts it up toward the end zone, incomplete. First time he's targeted Anthony Johnson, the terrific redshirt junior out of Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Raekwon Williams with really nice coverage on the outside, and watching with outside leverage. That's usually a problem when you see a 9 route down the field. Outside leverage will get you beat, but really a beautiful job by Raekwon coming across the front of the play without getting a PI now. That's really good job of reaching around, getting that ball out. Big time play by Raekwon Williams.
Yeah, Conference USA honorable mention a year ago. On the ground, Emmanuel Reed coming off a career game in the win over Colgate. Ran for 120 yards last week, and he picks up, about 7 or 8, make it 9 yards on second down to bring up third down and short.
Look at the offensive line surge here early. They're opening up holes, and this Emmanuel Reed's a really good football player as well. He's got some wiggle to him. He's a little smaller than Jonathan Hawkins. He got a nice 1-2 punch.
Reed with another carry and another Buffalo first down. And last week against Colgate, the former Sebastian River High School star out of Crestview, Florida, 29 carries, 133 yards.
Gotta get it done.
That will get it done, and it'll push Jonathan Hawkins, who is the #1 running back coming in, but he got dinged up a little bit in the win over Colgate, and we've yet to see him, and you see Reed with the helmet off, now having to come off the field.
They've had a lot of experience over the years. We'll talk about it a little later in terms of the line of backs that they've had at the tailback position. So this is one of the more inexperienced positions. They're deep with young talent, but not a lot of experience at the running back position. They're looking to build more momentum, get more production from these backs as the season wears on.
Second and goal from the 7. In motion, the tight end Tyler Mabry comes set. Jackson tucks it, cuts it, leans toward the goal line, but did not get there. That'll bring up third down and less than a yard to get on the board.
This is the dynamic that Tyree Jackson brings to your offense. You got a lot of man coverage when you get in the red zone. And if you don't have a guy spying him, he will tuck it and run. He's not super fast. He's not Michael Vick, okay? But what he is a guy that long strides, eats up yards, and watch him make that long 6-7 reach.
Well, Tyoka, he rushed for a career-high 97 yards in the win over Colgate last week. He's got a couple of rushing touchdowns already this year, and Coach Leipold does call that design quarterback draw fairly often.
really struggled in the red zone. They're 11th in the conference in scoring touchdowns in the red zone. This is an area that needs to improve for UB. So far, we've seen this FAU defense strengthen and tighten up once they got inside the 20. Let's see if UB can get it in.
We had an offside call, so second down and about 4. Second and goal from the 4. Triple receivers to the right. Jackson going to run it to the left. He's got blockers, but a couple of Owls blast through to bring him down. Leading the way, Zion Gilbert, the terrific freshman from Montgomery, Alabama.
Yeah, nice play by Gilbert. He comes from the inside out, leaves his feet, plays off a block too. Listen, Lane Kiffin told us this guy is an NFL player. Not too often do you see head coaches or hear head coaches talk about true freshmen like that.
Jackson tries again, and this time he blasts through the line for a touchdown. An impressive opening drive for the Buffalo Bulls, led by their quarterback, Tyree Jackson.
Well, we promoted him early for a reason. He is the key to this offense, and why not? Keep the ball, number 3. If they don't come out and get you right now, keep the ball, run the ball right up, straight up field, break a tackle. He's a big, strong, athletic quarterback. You're going to see a lot of run-pass options in this guy. He makes the right decision more often than not.
Adam Mitchison for the point after, and the junior from Pittsburgh makes the score 7-0 Buffalo. While Tyree Jackson catches his breath, we'll take a break. UB up.
I want everyone to take a look at a nice read option play. Look at 21 on the end line of the scrimmage for FAU, and pay attention to the quarterback, Jackson. He's reading 21. 21 goes down to take care of Theo Anderson. Right decision for Jackson to pull that ball out of the belly and run up inside. Watch it again. He's looking right at Jackson, or at 21, excuse me. He's looking right at Miller, pulls it out and runs it. It's assignment football. It's decision-making. Read option is about a quarterback who understands exactly what's going on. Jackson made the right decision on the goal line. 6 points for this UB team.
Well, as a true freshman, Tyree Jackson sat as a redshirt behind Joe Licata, one of the all-time great quarterbacks in UB history, who, by the way, is a local high school coach at Bishop Timon now. And Joe Licata says Tyree Jackson is going to be the first Buffalo quarterback to get drafted and play in the NFL.
Oh, I believe it. I believe that 100%. Now, what round, we don't know. That's yet to be determined. But I think he's definitely a draftable kid right now. We just want to see him get better at his efficiency. He's got to be above 60%. There's no reason he shouldn't be. And he's got new weapons now. I think the sky's the limit for this guy.
Kareth White, the redshirt sophomore from Loxahatchee, Florida, gets leveled shy of the 20-yard line. Gaddafi Wright on the tackle.
That's a big play right there. Whenever you're covering a kick, you want to get that ball inside the 20-yard line. The number 2 guy squeezes from the outside, misses.
Bam.
But there you go. It's team football. One guy missed, the other guy makes the play. Inside the 20, big play for the defense.
Wright takes down White, and now we get our first look at that man's offense. Lane Kiffin, by the way, for the first time in his professional coaching career this season, is not calling the plays. Off play action. Daniel Parr nearly intercepted. In and out of the hands of the defensive back, Tatum Slack.
Tatum Slack is taking over for the injured Cameron Lewis, who's a heck of a football player. And Tatum Slack is good in his own right, but he's got to catch that football. I mean, right now, Briles, the offense coordinator, is going to take a shot on the first play. And look at this. Beautiful job of coming off his initial coverage, but Slack's got to complete the play, catch the football for a turnover.
And that is Jason Driscoll, who got the start at quarterback. This time he hands off, and FAU comes up with a big gain. Devin Singletary off of the handoff from Driscoll.
Florida Atlantic has 2 quarterbacks, and they both can play. Daniel Parr and Jason Driscoll both have experience, both can play. Driscoll's the junior, 6'2", 210.
And you know what? In the game between these two teams a couple of years ago down in Boca Raton that Buffalo won, Driscoll had a FAU record 55 pass attempts. He was 26 of 55 for 385 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Here he hooks up with the freshman Willie Wright.
Wright's already got a 95-yard touchdown under his belt, so we know that guy can fly. You're going to see FAU spread Buffalo and stretch them lengthwise, and once they get comfortable there, they'll go down the field.
On 2nd down and 1, Good push from the guys up front for FAU. Still no whistle.
Yeah.
Looks like a rugby scrum, and they'll mark that football out across the 40 to about the 42-yard line.
Ever since Pop Warner, you learn to play to the whistle blows. If the Zebras are going to hold the whistle, you keep driving. Why not? And you see this up-tempo offense that Kendall Briles bought from Baylor.
Down the field, Driscoll into double coverage, and this time he's intercepted. There to pick it off, Ryan Williamson, the free safety from Cincinnati. Well, you know, it was turnovers 2 years ago that really cost FAU in this matchup, and they are turning it over to start here tonight.
And what you saw right there was Driscoll staring down the receiver, and that's just great safety play by Ryan Williamson. If you're playing safety, you read the quarterback's eyes. He's going to take you to the throw, and he decided to go up and get it. He wasn't going to bat it down. If you're a defensive back, your mentality is if the ball's in the air, it's mine. It's not my job to bat it down. It's my job to catch it. They missed one earlier. Give credit to Mr. Williamson to get that ball in his hands, come down with it. Big turnover for UB.
But twice, FAU quarterback Jason Driscoll throws into double coverage. Should have been picked off the first time, was picked off the second time. So here's Tyree Jackson. Little pitch and catch. Easy play for Buffalo. Tyler Mabry, the tight end, brought down after a gain of, well, looks like about 10, right around the first down marker. They've yet to move the chains, though.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct.
Defense. Number 92, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Jeremiah Talini,
first unsportsmanlike.
the defensive tackle, gets his first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. The next one will spell the end of his ball game.
Well, he's a grad student transfer. He should know better. I mean, he's been around. He's played a lot of football. Right now, your team's down. You're on the road. You can't afford penalties like that. It had no effect on the play, by the way. I mean, you just can't make ridiculous penalties that put your defense is already reeling a little bit in a further hole.
Well, he spent 4 years at the University of Pittsburgh and was expected to be the leader of their defensive line this year, but he wound up being dismissed from school, dismissed from the Pitt team, and so here he is at FAU. On first down, another good pickup for Buffalo as it moves into FAU territory. And again, it's Emmanuel Reed, the sophomore from Crestview, Florida. We've yet to see Jonathan Hawkins, the junior running back, listed as #1, trying to be that next guy. And I think that middle column, the average yards, makes a big difference. Reed's getting 4.6 per carry. Hawkins, not nearly as much.
Well, a whole yard less, and that's a big deal. Like you said, this UB team needs to be able to run the football effectively to set up everything else they do in the pass game.
It's Reed again, and he's brought down just about at the line of scrimmage. Rashad Smith, sophomore linebacker, on pursuit.
Excellent job by Smith. Did you see him run from the backside? Defense is about knowing your assignment, pursuing. Watch him come from inside out. If you're not going to block the middle linebacker, he's free to make the play. You better go make it. And that's exactly what Smith did.
And again, FAU playing, at least for the moment, without Aziz Al-Shair because of an injury. It's presumed to be a right arm injury. He is here and in uniform, went through warm-ups, but Smith and Barnwell, along with Herb Miller, trying to pick up the slack in this 4-3 defense. Jackson fires a bullet, and it's complete at the 30-yard line. Wonderful job to adjust on that pass by Anthony Johnson.
Beautiful throw. This is a back shoulder throw. Man coverage. Jackson's all over. He sees the blitz coming, puts his foot in the ground, gets the ball out, throws it exactly where Johnson can catch it and no one else. Excellent job. I mean, these are two guys that are on the same page. I mean, you know, Johnson hasn't been around this program very long, but look at the placement. Look at the placement of the ball. Johnson knows where it's going. The DB has no idea. Look at him scoop it off before it hits the turf, and that's a beautiful job. Two guys on the same page. This Johnson guy is very impressive. We know he can get down the field, but it looks like he can run stop routes and all the intermediate stuff as well.
Of course, Buffalo, so that the replay officials couldn't get another look at that, ran
Smart.
a quick play. They get only a yard, but it's worth keeping the football down where it is. Swing past KJ Osborne with a hole. Sidesteps through a tackler. Still going down to the 5-yard line.
You gotta like what Andy Kodalinki is doing. Watch the blocks on the perimeter. First, they've shown a lot of different formations. Went empty right there to the shotgun. Beautiful block on the outside. Gets the defender on the ground. And if you are a wide receiver at the University of Buffalo, you have to be able to block. That time it was the backup tight end, Lefebvre makes a nice block on the outside, and that's all that was needed by K.J. Osborne to get upfield. Great job executing.
We're only 7.5, 8 minutes into this ball game, and already this is the 14th snap for Buffalo in FAU territory. No gain there. And that'll bring up 2nd down and goal. Zion Gilbert, who, as you mentioned, Tioka, his coach said he looks like an SEC player right now.
Yeah.
And he will play in the NFL. And this is a guy who is a no-star recruit by ESPN. Yet he was offered by Illinois and Cincinnati, and boy, FAU's happy to have him.
The pride of Mobile, Alabama, and we've already seen he can play off the block. That time he was unblocked to make the play. He's a really good football player. I'm seeing that already. Just a true freshman.
Theo Anderson, the running back. Snap to Jackson. He fights his way once again to the end zone. Touchdown, Buffalo.
Football can be really simple if your offensive line is dominating the line of scrimmage, and right now the guys in black are beating the heck out of guys in white. It's just as simple as that. And obviously when you got a big athletic quarterback who's strong, you got to tackle him, but he's running through holes, ladies and gentlemen. Running through holes untouched, and that's a problem for this FAU defense.
And with 2 rushing touchdowns, that matches Tyree Jackson's career high for a single game. It doubles his season total of rushing touchdowns. And the University of Buffalo off to a tremendous start in pursuit of win number 2 on the.
All ESPN coverage is streaming live on the ESPN app. Download now and take ESPN everywhere.
And I certainly do that. Scores, highlights, and breaking news on the go, as well as one-tap access to stream live events, including this one, including the NBA playoffs and the finals, and analysis from the ESPN family of networks, all available to you with the ESPN app. And you can make the ESPN app your own by selecting your favorite teams and sports. And it looks like Tyree Jackson, he's dealing with the heat like everybody else, but he's dealing better than everybody else so far.
That's okay. You can be as hot as you want if you're going to be throwing and hitting the open man every time you drop back and throw the football. He doesn't mind a little sweat. But how about that app? How good is that app? I'm not saying I'm actually going to watch the Penn State game at halftime on my app. I'm just going to say I might at halftime.
Well, the keys for FAU, for one, you can't turn the football over, which is what killed them 2 years ago. What do they need to do to erase this 14-point deficit?
Yeah, ball security is going to be a big, big situation for them, and we've seen that be a problem. And also I had down the Owls defense must find a way to rattle this UB star at quarterback and force him into crucial mistakes. And so far he's 5 of 6 for 86 yards. That has not happened. I promise you I didn't cheat on these keys. These keys I had before the game, all right? I can tell you that right now. And it's been a problem so far. Let's see if they can right the ship right now with the ball.
Well, one of the problems for FAU the first couple of weeks of the season was in their passing game, Tioka, they got very little downfield, very little vertical passing, and so I have a feeling as Kareth White gets dropped out of bounds that Jason Driscoll perhaps atypically threw a couple of deep balls and it burned him on that first possession.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin talked about it. He said even though they got a lot of completed passes in the game last week, most of them were sideways. The majority of the passes that were completed were behind the line of scrimmage. He said we need more production down the field. That might have been what they were thinking during the week. They wanted to go with Driscoll, see if they can force that ball downfield. You got to have open people, and you better hit the guys that are open.
This is Driscoll. Fires it off line, intended for Willie Wright.
Nearly a lateral there.
Florida Atlantic won their game 45-0 against Bethune-Cookman last week, and in spite of that, Coach Kiffin said, my quarterback just didn't play well, and he is missing the guy he thought would be his starting quarterback, DeAndre Johnson. The transfer from Florida State University is back in Boca Raton. Reportedly had to undergo surgery for blood clots in his arm, and so who knows when he might be back for FAU. And it's not like Parr and Driscoll don't have experience. The two guys who are here playing quarterback, Driscoll put up some good numbers last year as the starter. Parr certainly in the first 3 games did some good things. At the moment, they're going with number 16.
Yeah, this guy Driscoll's in the top 10 of almost every major passing category in school history. So he's had success. You just got to see him get a little bit of confidence. I expect him to throw a little more easier throws to get him in some rhythm before they go back downfield again. You see on the play before, it was sort of an RPO. Run pass option. He had a guy open on the outside. The ball was high. But you see Parr looking on, and you know he's chomping at the bit to get back in. That's healthy competition at the quarterback position.
And you mentioned it, Tioka, on what was the screen pass 2 plays ago. They did rule it was a lateral and fumbled out of bounds, so that's why they lost so much yardage. Now 3rd down and 8. 3rd
down is big for this FAU team. They're one of the worst teams on 3rd down in America. Let's see if they can get it right today.
Up the middle. Singletary to midfield for a 1st down.
Very conservative call by Kendall Browse, but it works out well. Really good, hard running. That might be a catalyst. Mr. Singletary, they call him motor.
Quick strike over the middle. Complete. Flag down, though, before the snap, and that's going to erase what was going to be a big gain for the tight end, Harrison Bryant.
With the substitution, defense, 12-man in formation, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Well, that's one way to stop him.
Give up some yards, but yeah, that'll slow them down a little bit. This is what happens when you have a up-tempo, high-octane offense. It really stresses the defense, forces them to, if you're going to substitute, you better substitute quickly. And that time, UB got caught with their hand in the cookie jar, easy 5 yards.
But a huge break, because they'll happily give up 5 yards on the penalty instead of what would have been a touchdown to Bryant.
For sure.
Trying to stretch out the play for Singletary. The man, as you mentioned, they call motor. His coach says the first guy rarely tackles him. This young man from Deerfield Beach, Florida, is tough to bring down.
He's averaging 6.37 yards a carry. That's good for 2nd all-time in FAU history. He's a very productive back.
Just ask the Rice Owls last year. He gouged them for over 250 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Good answer by Driscoll there to keep the football and run for a 1st down. Move the chains. FAU having its first sustained success on the offensive end.
And look how quickly they up to the ball. They're ready to snap it right now.
Flag down. Pass intended for Willie Wright, the freshman from Jacksonville.
Flags down, but it looked like to me Driscoll had Harrison Bryant on the flat route, wide open.
Wheel formation, offense, more than 4 men in the backfield, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Well, you can tell Lane Kiffin didn't like that call.
No.
Well, again, he's not calling plays this year, and the whole idea behind that was that he felt in reflection that during his time at USC and during his brief time in Knoxville with the Tennessee Volunteers, he didn't have a good enough feel for the overall picture of his team. And so he was focused too much on the play calling and too much on the offense. And now he's trying at FAU to really see the big picture. DeAndre McNeil. They blow the whistle as Brandon Williams grabbed the ankle and wouldn't let go.
Yeah, McNeil's a speedster. He can run. We talked about him earlier. And if you're gonna be a fast guy like that, averaging 23.7 a catch, you're gonna get a cushion. So comeback routes will be there for you in curls all day long.
Yeah, 11 catches for 261 yards and a couple of touchdowns coming into this game for DeAndre McNeil. Kareth White, big hole, breaks the 1 tackle, and he is gone. The young man from Loxahatchee, Florida, out of Seminole Ridge High School, gets FAU on the board.
Beautiful job. And if you remember, this whole thing started on a long third down run. The run has gotten these guys some rhythm. I want you to watch number 40, though. Harrison Bryant, what a beautiful block right there. And that sprung him, Brock on Collier. And that sprung White. And once White gets in the open field, you can see he knows what to do with it. Nice broken tackle, gets down the line. Beautiful job, touchdown.
On for the point after Greg Joseph, and that is his 101st straight PAT. He's missed 1 in his college career. FAU with a big answer. If they protect the football, this team can score. Kareth White doing things here in Buffalo for Florida Atlantic on their last drive. 3 carries, 49 yards. That's a 16.3 average to get the Owls on the board.
Came in averaging 4.7, but that's going to go up from there.
Now, as we've mentioned, the last time these two teams met down in Florida a couple of years ago, 5 turnovers were the difference, and more importantly than that, 3 of those turnovers were returned by Buffalo for touchdowns. When was the last time you were around a game where a defense scored 3 times?
Yeah, it's amazing. And you talk, if the defense scores 1 time, the propensity to win goes through the roof. 3 scores, you got no chance. And I don't care if you're at home or not. And now they're on the road. You take a road win by running the football, which they've done, and not turning over. They've given it 1 time. We'll see if they can get that squared away.
Got to bring it out. And not the best decision. FAU special teams does a real nice job of covering that kick.
Return of 20 yards.
That's a 20-yard return for Devin Russell, the junior cornerback for the Buffalo Bulls. And there's Tyree Jackson. We have talked about him right from the start. We're going to continue to talk about him. Young man who took his lumps in high school, took his lumps last year through a 2-10 season where this Buffalo offense, Tioka, was 3rd worst in all of Division I. I mean, they were 124 out of 126. So far tonight, certainly looks like a much different deal.
They got off to really slow starts in all their games. They scored something like combined 10 points in the first quarter of all their games. And so they were behind 8 ball early.
And here he goes again, the big fella with another first down, finally tripped up around the 30. And the man who hit him and took him down got the worst of it. He's still down.
Yeah, he is still down. Look at Jackson, though. Again, great job of vision on the outside. Keeping the football was the right decision. And he's a load to tackle. I mean, he's 245 pounds running hard at you. He's a quarterback, but he's more, when he's in open field, more like a big, long tight end running down the field.
So if you're the terrific, strong safety for FAU, Jalen Young, you only weigh 185 pounds, and you're out in space against that? What do you do?
That's a problem. He went low like you should. But again, when you're 245, even the lower extremities are thick and hard. So he came in hard with his shoulder, and he got the guy down. But again, this is a physical football game, physical team they're playing against in Buffalo. Things like that happen. You just hope he gets up and can come back and play, because he's really a heck of a football player.
Yeah, he was preseason first-team All-Conference USA, playing very well this season. 14 tackles at Wisconsin week 2, and had 100 tackles out of the defensive secondary a year ago.
What you want to see from your safety is one-on-one tackling in space. You're the safety.
He did that.
Yeah, he did that. Got him down for sure. But I mean, that comes with the territory playing tackle football. Hopefully, it's nothing serious. Certainly, he's reaching toward that shoulder pad. Don't know exactly what it is, but it's obviously an issue up near that shoulder area. And hopefully, again, he can come back, because they need him.
And again, FAU already playing without its outstanding Mike linebacker, Aziz El-Shire. He is here, is in uniform, is available, but we've yet to see him on the field. Tyree Jackson up top. Well, he throws a pretty long ball, trying to find Anthony Johnson, but the pass falls incomplete. On the coverage, Shelton Lewis.
Zion Gilbert was coming over with safety help. They know where Mr. Johnson is. This is a big play offense, too. They're trying to get the ball downfield, right?
Well, they are, and they've been much more successful this year than all of last year, making these big chunk yardage plays.
Look how beautiful the ball is, though. Look at the placement on these deep balls. Tyree Jackson is one of the best deep ball throwers in all of college football. Again, look at the placement. Beautiful. He's hitting these guys in stride. They can run with the football after they catch it. Watch him drop this one in.
On 2nd down and 10. Gain of 4. Emmanuel Reed bring up 3rd down and 6. I mean, you know, we're talking about the big plays, Tioka. Last year, Buffalo had only 5 plays all season of 45 yards or more. They've already got 6 this season.
And when you got a combination like Jackson to Johnson, he attempted to throw the football on every play, but Andy Kololinki again is mixing in the run and pass beautifully. He's doing a good job of calling some run pass options, and Jackson's making some right decisions with the read option, so keeping this defense honest.
Jackson fires a bullet for a first down. Kamadi Holsey, 6'4" senior, with his first reception of the ball game.
Senior from Philadelphia. Again, a back shoulder throw versus man coverage is very effective, because the defensive back has to respect the nine route or the fly route or the downfield route. So when a really good receiver can stop on a dime and come back, he's going to have an opportunity to catch the football if the ball is accurate, and that time it was.
Jackson 6 of 8 so far throwing the football. Trying to run it again this time. He's able to cross the midfield stripe. And actually, off of what looked like nothing, winds up picking up 5 on first down.
He's not Lamar Jackson. I mean, he's not an explosive sprinter speed type fastest guy on the field runner, but what he is, he's nifty and he's long. So even if he falls forward at 6'7", a full stride and a fall forward is usually 4 to 5 yards just from that.
And they say he can run a 4.6 40.
Yeah, that's moving.
That's not bad at all.
245, you'll take it.
Now they're still spending a lot of time working on his footwork in the pocket and in short spaces, but once he gets going, boy, he can move it, and like we've said, he's tough to bring down. Fakes the handoff, and he's going to go up top again. He's got a man inside the 10. Incomplete. Amadi Holsey trying to take advantage of his 6'4" frame, but Raequan Williams said,
We've seen Raequan Williams make a big play earlier. He does it again. Watch him come from the backside without a PI, makes a play on the football. You see a lot of times cornerbacks panic when the ball's in the line of scrimmage and do something to get a flag on the field, but Mr. Williams is clearly a cool customer, made a nice play on the ball, kept his eyes up, and got that ball on the ground. Very nice job from the guy who's a senior from Jacksonville.
Big third down here for the Owls at their 48-yard line.
FAU has got to get off the field.
Jackson fires another strike. Looked like it might have been a little bit behind the intended receiver, Jacob Martinez. And so Buffalo will play it safe here and bring the punting team out.
Watch Smith read the eyes and get in that throwing lane, but actually it was a defensive lineman that got his hands on it. Thwarted that throw. Number 95 got his big paw up, and that ball ended up on the ground.
Yeah, Ernest Bagner, 6'4" junior from Paramount, California, with that deflection. Little Australian-style punt for Kyle DeWeen. Henry Bussey trying to find some space, but well covered by Buffalo. Got a flag on the field at around the 18-yard line.
Good job of punt coverage there by Buffalo. If you saw, they stayed in their lanes really well and kept the returner running east and west. As long as the returner's running east and west, there's nothing bad that can happen to you as a coverage team.
During the return, we'll go block in the back. Receiving team, number 21. Half the distance to goal, first down.
And so that negates the very minimal return by Henry Bussey, who the Buffalo special teams guys remember from 2 years ago. He had his longest career return on a punt of 40 yards. But so far here in this game and this season, he has not been able to break anything big. Here's Lane Kiffin, the 42-year-old. Spent the last 3 years as the offensive coordinator for the Alabama Crimson Tide. And it has been a noteworthy decade, let's just say that. I mean, he was fired by Al Davis with the Oakland Raiders. He stayed only a year at Tennessee and had to be escorted out the back door when he was leaving on very short notice. And then, of course, he famously was fired by Pat Hayden, the AD at USC, on the tarmac at LAX. And so who knows what will happen here at FAU. There's no questioning his offensive mind. It's just whether he can put it all together. I mean, his career path over the last decade has gone really in reverse. Usually you start at a mid-major like where he is now and work your way up. He started as a 31-year-old head coach in the NFL.
Yeah, and he can recruit, too. That's another thing that he brings to the table. He can get guys at your university.
As we mentioned, he has overhauled this FAU roster and then some, and brought in a lot of talent, a lot of big-time talent. He's got 9 players from Power 5 programs on his roster right now.
And at the end of the first quarter.
End of the first quarter. Jason Driscoll and the FAU Owls with the football down 7 here in Buffalo. We talk about some of the new talent at Florida Atlantic. None more talented than number 12 in white, John Franklin III, who spent a couple of years at Florida State. He was a redshirt freshman on their national championship team playing quarterback as a backup in 2013. Then wound up going to East Mississippi Community College. Last year as a backup quarterback for the Auburn Tigers. Tioka, he had an 80-yard touchdown run against Louisiana Monroe, longest by an SEC quarterback last year. as the pass is complete by Driscoll. He also, for the Auburn Tigers last year at Alabama, had a 55-yard pass. That was the Tigers' longest pass. And now he's been converted to wide receiver and trying to make it to the NFL here through FAU as a wide receiver.
And a big-time offense that's very wide receiver friendly.
Franklin so far this year has caught 4 passes for 19 yards. And in the game last week, Lane Kiffin did use him for a snap at quarterback. Obviously, he's got throwing ability. But Lane Kiffin has said very clearly, and Franklin says he agrees with it, he wants to continue to evolve as a wide receiver because that's where they feel his greatest potential lies. That pass intended for DeAndre McNeil, former Texas Longhorn.
And Driscoll had him. This is what they've struggled to do, connect on the downfield pass. They've got some big-time wide receiver athletes, guys who can get open down the field, but so far this season, the quarterbacks have struggled to get it to them consistently. They've got to get righted on that ship in order to have success long-term this season because they've got some guys. You got to really hit them when they're open now.
Driscoll making his 14th career start. Keeps the football himself, gets out to the 39-yard line. And Driscoll can deliver the pass. I mean, he's number 2 all-time in program history with a career pass completion rate of 58%.
Yeah, it's a new offense. It takes time. He need reps.
This time he hands it off. A lot of room across the 50. Kareth White inside the 40 where he's brought down. Long gainer for the Owls.
And how about the night Kareth is having? The play before, Driscoll kept the ball and should have handed it off. This time he learned because he took a big shot and gives it to the guy who needs to run the football, and that's White. Again, big day for him. Continues.
Nice job by Harrison Bryant, the tight end and lead blocker. Devin Singletary.
Singletary on the carry for a gain of 4.
Pick up of 4.
You know whose name we haven't called a lot? Khalil Hodge. I mean, this guy is one of the best tacklers in all of college football. I mean, he's averaging 12 tackles a game, and I don't know if he's had one so far.
Number 4 in black. Nobody's touching him this time. Kareth White, he's going to go. Make it Singletary, excuse me, number 5, not number 6. And so Devin Singletary draws FAU within a point.
Motor makes a big run. How about the blocking, though? Now the offensive line is starting to get revved up for FAU. Nobody touching him. I mean, when he ran that ball untouched. If you don't get penetration, get off blocks, and put a hat on the ball carrier, I don't care who's running. You can run for a touchdown if nobody's going to tackle you. The defense might as well not even been there. The UB defense has to pick it up.
Yeah, I think on a hot night like this, I might not have made it. I'd have dropped it about the 15. And after falling behind 14-0, Florida Atlantic University has tied it up at 14. Back-to-back touchdowns, and this FAU offense beginning to get hot. Lane Kiffin's Florida Atlantic University football team, like so many in Florida, had a lot to deal with thanks to Hurricane Irma. So, as many of you probably know, the Owls decided to get out of Boca Raton and fly up to Madison, Wisconsin and play the game as scheduled against the Badgers. They lost to Wisconsin, but they were really winners based on the hospitality shown by the University of Wisconsin. And then this was an open letter sent by Coach Kiffin to the fans and the university through the newspaper up in Wisconsin to say thank you for all they had given.
And he talked about how happy he was that they were able to work out in the facilities and get a weight room, a couple weight room visits in, and how that really helped this team actually being away in those great facilities at Wisconsin.
Well, in that spirit of trying to help out the folks in Florida and in Texas and in Puerto Rico. Of course, thousands have been affected by Hurricanes Harvey, Irma, and Jose, and they urgently need our support. Help the American Red Cross provide meals and shelter to these families. You can donate tonight by going to redcross.org/ESPN.
Both of these defenses are struggling to stop the run, right?
Well, Florida Atlantic, if you just take their 2 running backs, White and Singletary, are averaging over 12 yards per touch as a team, including Driscoll, the quarterback. 15 carries, 161 yards already, 10.7 per carry.
And that continues a trend that's been happening for UB for 2 years now, but all year for both teams. Buffalo gives up 219 yards on the ground a game. That's good for 114th, and Florida Atlantic has struggled even more. They give up an average of 278 yards on the ground. That's 124th ranked rushing defense. So both of these teams struggle running the football. It's no surprise that both offensive coordinators are running the football against it. Let's see if they've gotten it fixed. Neither team has gotten it fixed. One of these teams got to step up and play good run defense to get a win tonight.
Tyree Jackson, the design rollout, lofts it toward the sideline, incomplete. Trying to find Antonio Nunn. We've got a flag down, back behind the line of scrimmage.
I think we got a roughing the passer situation right here.
And you know, you talk about the inability to stop the run for both of these teams, but stats are funny. You can make them tell you what they want as we take a listen to what the call is here. I'll tell you why I say that, because there's two sides to every story.
Personal foul, roughing the passer with targeting defense. Number 54. The previous play is under further review.
So it sounded like they said 54. Let's see on the replay. If it's 54, Jose Barnwell, the fifth, called for targeting.
I don't know about the targeting. That's certainly roughing the passer, for
Did he
sure.
lead with the crown of his helmet?
I don't know.
And we didn't see exactly where he made contact. There, this will give us a better feel for what Barnwell did or didn't do.
That definitely is late. I don't know that that's targeting. They're going to review that, right?
Well, targeting calls all across college football this year are up 50%.
Yeah.
So it's, again, a big point of emphasis for the sport of college football to further protect their players. And so you're going to get a lot of these targeting calls. This is my fourth game of the year. I've seen two targeting calls, one reversed on a replay. How about you?
I've seen two as well, and both of them stood. And it really hurt because you got to go out of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, and you got to get 4 quarters in. So more often than not, you're gone for the next game too. See, I don't think that's targeted. I don't see a drop of the crown of the head. I don't see leading with the head. I see a late hit for sure, but I see more shoulder than head. But now let's see if there's helmet contact though. Yeah, I mean, there's some helmet contact. I'm not sure if that raises to the level of targeting.
And you know what? For the 6-footer Barnwell to get up to the helmet of the 6'7" quarterback, did he launch himself too? I mean, This is what they're looking at right now, the replay officials up here. And in last week's Buffalo-Colgate game here, there was one targeting call that was reversed. So who knows what they'll come up with here on this play. The good news out of all of it is that Tyree Jackson appears to be no worse for wear. Just trying to make sure everybody is safe.
And you like the impetus of it, partner. You like why they're doing it. They're trying to protect the players. They want the game to be safer for the young men on the field. And so I'm buying all in on that.
After further review, there is no foul for targeting, but we do have roughing the passer, defense number 54. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. 54.
Did you sneak out to the replay booth when I wasn't looking? You were all over that.
Well, I mean, it's tough. It's a tough call because I know what they want to do. They're trying to protect, especially the quarterbacks who are very vulnerable in that situation. But I just didn't see a guy in Barnwell who was trying to put his face on another player's helmet. So I think that's the right call.
So a 15-yard penalty for not targeting. Barnwell able to stay in the ball game, and Buffalo with a first down in its own 35-yard line runs it with Theo Anderson. Play was stretched out pretty good, and a gain of only 1. And now going back to what we were talking about before, so both these teams have had trouble statistically stopping the run this year, but the flip side, like for Buffalo, their pass defense 4th in the country, 1st in the MAC, and so Buffalo has faced 3 teams this year that really don't throw the football that much, one of them being a military academy when you know they're not going to throw the football. So you're more apt to give up more running yards when you play Army, when you play Navy, than when you play the non-military schools. And, you know, so there's two sides to it. Yes, they've not been good against the run, but they've been playing teams that all they do is run.
Yeah, and you know, I've heard one of the biggest lies in any genre is statistics. But as it relates to rushing defense and running the football, if you see bad numbers of running the football, that's a problem. That's a problem for the physicality of your team, And you know, an offense will always have an opportunity to stay in the game if they can run the football. Now, I will say this. The best thing, though, for this UB defense, the best thing you can say is they're only giving up 16 points a game. That's really the bottom line for this defense, keeping teams out of the end zone.
Jackson well protected that time. His pass, though, overthrown, incomplete. Trying to find Jamarl Island, the senior co-captain from Canton, Michigan.
You got to give credit right now to FAU. They came out and got a 3-and-out. After the penalty, stopped on 3 straight plays. UB was in a nice rhythm. The momentum is slowly shifting to the guys in white. We see a quarterback for FAU who's in a really nice rhythm. Speaking of Driscoll, and they've obviously been able to run the football. And so Jackson was 0-3 on that last drive.
Willie Wright lets the ball bounce in front of him. Takes an FAU bounce and then is downed at the 29-yard line by Jarrett Franklin. And you notice Jarrett Franklin wearing the number 41 there as the punter Kyle DeWeen walks off. Franklin is one of the co-captains of this team, and he has been given the uniform number 41 by his team and by his coaching staff to honor the legacy of former UB Bull Solomon Jackson. Linebacker, defensive end, died during an off-season workout back in February of last year. His locker remains sealed in Solomon's memory, and this year, because of the type of person Solomon was and the type of person Jarrett Franklin is, he wears that 41 with pride for Buffalo.
Captain from St. Louis, Missouri, is a very good football player, too. Second on the team in tackles last year and this year.
And there's the number 41 that the University at Buffalo has put onto the field here at
Snap infraction.
UB.
Offense, number 64. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Penalty against Antonio Woods, the center. So it's something that's been very important to Coach Lance Leipold and his staff to make sure that number 41 is not forgotten. So we see reminders, some subtle, some not so much, and you know that these players carry a little piece of Solomon with them every time they take the field. On 1st and 15, get a good chunk back for the Owls. On the pass play to Willie Wright, who suffered a high ankle sprain week 1, but as you said, didn't slow him down that week. I think it slowed him down a little bit the last 2 weeks.
Right, true freshman, the guy can fly.
On the ground, Devin Singletary, and once again, Buffalo having trouble stopping the run. Florida Atlantic usually getting over 10 yards per carry here tonight.
Actually played pretty good run defense versus Minnesota, but since then has had problems tackling. And you see a missed tackle there. They've got to be able to get a hat on the hat and run your feet and get the guy on the ground.
That was a 15-yard gain.
Missed an opportunity to snap the ball right there. Probably could have got easy 5 yards, and Kiffin is upset about it, too.
Yeah, Chibuzi Onwuka was late getting off the field. Singletary again off the left side for a gain of 4.
And the reason Lane Kiffin's upset is because that's what this offense is all about. You're built to go fast. You can catch the defense trying to substitute and get yourself an easy 5 by snapping the ball. They could have snapped the ball and threw the ball deep because you had a free play. That's what this is all about, this Browns offense.
Pass into traffic again. Not sure who that was intended for. And both receivers who are next to each other are looking at each other saying, was that for me or was that for you?
Yeah, that's a timing throw. And that ball came out right now because he's expecting the wide receiver to be in a certain place. Those are the type of mistakes that you get when you're bringing in a new offense. This is on-the-job training for everybody in white.
3rd down and 6. Jason Driscoll pass. Incomplete. Trying to find McNeil. And he could not haul it in.
You saw McNeil give the sign to get the ball up. You got to catch that football. If you're DeAndre McNeil, you're a really good football player, really good wideout, but you got to go down and get that ball. I mean, I don't know.
It's right there.
Catch that football. Watch the hands come up like get it up. No. You got to catch that football, Mr. McNeil. There's no question about that. That's a first down.
Yeah, young man from Mesquite, Texas with the drop. Brings the punt team out. Ryan Rickles averaging just a touch under 40 yards per punt so far this year. And the fair catch will give Buffalo the football after the play by Jacob Martinez. Well, the defense is pushing back a little bit here in Buffalo. Back in Buffalo, and you see Jaquise Webb, the offensive lineman for Buffalo, on the back of his helmet and all helmets. We talked about why number 41 is there, remembering their fallen teammate, but the green apple is there on the student athletes' helmets because that is the Extra Yard for Teachers logo, the primary platform of the College Football Playoff Foundation that seeks to elevate the teaching profession by inspiring and empowering teachers. Student athletes across the country are showing their support for teachers this week in honor of Extra Yard for Teachers Week, a week-long celebration of early childhood through secondary education teachers. This is just one of many ways the college football community is leading the way in saluting educators in communities all around America this week. And I'll tell you, Tioka Jackson, the folks here at UB have already donated $5,000 through this initiative to the Buffalo City School District.
That's big time, too. I still shout out to Barbara White, my favorite teacher of all time from Bishop McNamara High School. As we saw Emmanuel Reed pick up good first down yardage. But yeah, when you got a great teacher, it sort of stays with you the rest of your life. They have a huge impact on your life, and Barbara White was a demanding teacher but had a heart of gold, and we're still friends to this day.
Nice. And I'm from a family of school teachers. Both my mom and dad were school teachers. Pass complete. Near a first down. Jackson to Martinez. He's the most experienced wide receiver on this Buffalo roster, and he picks up a first down.
Yeah, just ran a basic out route and it's wide open. You got zone coverage. Number 25's coming inside out to try to make a play, but he was late. Really good job of just getting the ball out of your hands, and Jackson right now is in a rhythm. They got to continue to run the football, though. They don't want to be one-dimensional. Run the football, continue to set this thing up.
Nothing doing on first down.
I think you saw the wrong decision on the read option there by Jackson. He should have kept that football. Every time you run read option, you're reading the end defensive lineman on the line of scrimmage. He tells you what to do with the football. And it's not easy. You got to do it on the fly, running full speed. But right there, giving it to the tailback, I think was probably not the right decision.
And big number 61, Brandon Menesalvis, the left guard for Buffalo, limping a bit, 6'5", 305, making his 28th career start. UB used to having him in there, protecting the quarterback Jackson, who lofts it up, and it's incomplete. Tremendous diving stop. Back in pass coverage, the Will linebacker, Rashad Smith.
Trying to hit Tyler Mabry again, and we talked about it earlier today. The tight end position for this UB offense has a history. You know, Mason Streck last year, was one of the best tight ends I saw in person, and Tyler Mabry is is a really big athlete who can run, and Jackson pulled the string on that one a little bit, left it a little bit short. He had Mabry down the sidelines in man coverage. Just missed the throw. One of the few times you'll see Jackson miss a wide open throw without being pressured.
And you mentioned Mason Streck, last year's wonderful tight end for Buffalo, as Tyree Jackson's going to be sacked at the 10-yard line. Streck was a 7th-round draft pick of the Cincinnati Bengals last year. Remains on injured reserve. That sack. We talked
about Menesalvis, being a tough guy and playing gimpy, but sometimes when you play gimpy, you get a liability to your team, and he gets beat right there. I think Jackson should have stayed in that pocket a little bit longer, but he's got a guard there who's got problems. He's limping around right now. He has to decide whether he's a tough guy. Now, most offensive linemen won't leave with a limp, but you got to decide if you're going to be a liability to your team or not by staying in the ball game.
Ernest Bagner is the man who picked up the sack and forces the punt. And so we continue to see here in the second quarter, both defenses a little bit more stout. Punt return still on his feet and finally drilled out of bounds inside the 20.
Some hitting going on out there now. There's some pads cracking, and that's football right there. These teams are going at it, as they should.
Take a look at number 86, Willie Wright. Found some space, got some room on the corner, but then bam, he got hit late.
I think legal, though. I mean, he was still inbound, still tight roping, and that's a legal hit, big time hit, though.
Sure was, by Paul Nosworthy.
I think Paul just might be the long snapper because you don't see too many 72s covering punts. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say he was the long snapper on that play. Came over and made a nice play. That might have been a touchdown saving play.
Out of Baldwin, New York. Great field position for FAU. Reversing course. Look who's got it. It's number 12, John Franklin III. For the first time tonight, the former Florida State Seminole and former Auburn Tiger. This is third Division I stop throughout his college career.
Wildcat. Decided to line them up at quarterback and see what they can get. And when you go Wildcat, you figure you're going to have one extra player, which is the guy with the ball in his hands in the box. You can't really account for him. There was nothing going front side, and it was really good pursuit on the backside. So when he cut it back, it was nothing but black jerseys, but positive yardage.
Still picked up 7. No gain on that play as Jason Driscoll back at quarterback had nowhere to run.
Chuck Hayes came across the field to make a nice play. He's a guy that they're looking for a breakout performance. They think he's a really good football player, 6'4", 265-pound junior.
Quarterback keeps. Driscoll tripped up at the 10, able to pick up a couple of yards after contact. Brandon Williams got him down, but not until. Positive yardage again for FAU.
Yeah, that could have been a score, though. That's a really good job by Williams coming up and getting the quarterback on the ground because they had something going to the short side of the field. Hurry up right here, though. Going fast.
4th down and 1. First down. There's a flag down into the end zone. If the play stands, FAU will take the lead. Devin Singletary
I think that's
from 6
back.
yards out.
Holding. Offense. Number 73. 10-yard penalty. 4th down.
So the right tackle, Brandon Walton, sophomore from Largo, Florida, called for the holding.
Kiffin is incredulous. Look at that look.
And so by losing that touchdown on 4th down, you're going to bring your field goal team in.
Huge play. I mean, huge. You go no huddle, up tempo to catch the defense slipping. You get exactly what you want. You got your back running through the secondary for a touchdown untouched. You get a backside holding. Backside meaning the weak side, offside of the play probably didn't need to do it to spring the back. That's a tough play right there.
35-yard field goal attempt for Greg Joseph, the terrific senior from Johannesburg, South Africa. And he gives FAU its first lead of the night. 17 unanswered points by the Owls. How will the Bulls respond? FAU's Greg Joseph is a perfect 4 for 4 on field goals this year, including a career-long, a program-best 54-yarder week 1 against Navy. He's knocked in 102 straight PATs. He is perfect this year on PATs. What a weapon for FAU to have Greg Joseph, the senior out of the American Heritage School in Delray, Florida.
Yeah, and he gives a lot of confidence to your offensive coordinator, but also Lane Kiffin talked about how it makes him feel good when he can decide whether to kick it or not. You got a big-time kicker, so the boon to the offense is obvious, right? With all those numbers, I mean, he's the all-time leading scorer in FAU history, but also his kickoffs. You know, Lane Kiffin talked about how he kicks the ball into the end zone for touchbacks at a great rate, which makes the offense of the opposing team have to go a long way. That's great for the defense.
This kick carries the return man 10 yards deep.
Right on cue, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, if you can't return the ball, that means you got to go 80 yards every single, or 80, or what is that, 75 yards every single time. And, you know, offenses like to start beyond the 30 if possible. I mean, that's where you want to start, but those long drives are tough, especially when you got to go through a bunch of third downs. And so he's a weapon for the defense, not just for the offense.
Yeah, now we saw that stat earlier on Joseph. The one PAT that he's missed in his 4 years at FAU came as a freshman against UTSA. So you figure, well, he probably didn't feel so good about himself that night. However, he wound up making the game-saving tackle later in that game to get the win. Not bad at all.
Gotta catch that football. Gotta catch that.
Jackson and Osborne trying to hook up Osborne. The redshirt sophomore couldn't make the catch.
Great ball. Reach out. Squeeze that ball, young man. You got to make a play. Now, right now, this FAU defense has begun to make a stand against this UB offense. And so right now, the momentum has to be snatched back by the team in black. So when you get an opportunity to make a play, you got to make it.
Yeah, Buffalo's first 2 drives combined for 141 yards and 2 touchdowns. Since then, last 3 times Buffalo's had the football before this drive, a combined 40 yards, including a couple of 3-and-outs.
Yeah, Andy Kololinki talked about how each one of these groups on offense talked about making plays. That's what they want to do. They want to be known as playmakers. Well, it's time now. You're at home. You're trying to get a 2-game win streak going. You're down. It's time to start making plays. UB, if you want to win this football game.
And Tyree Jackson has cooled off considerably, completing only one of his last 6 passes. Now 2 of his last 7, and that's a Buffalo first down to Osborne.
That's where they come back, and they found a home with the back shoulder throw against man coverage on the outside. They're executing it beautifully, really. Watch the man coverage on the outside. Jackson steps into the throw, and he throws a rocket. Great job of coming back to the ball by Osborne. He did a little bit of a body catch right there. That's not exactly how you teach it, but as long as you catch it, you won't get yelled at too loud. Chains move, first down for the Bulls.
2 receptions for 34 yards, including that 10-yarder for Osborne. Buffalo keeps it on the ground on first down.
Very important they do not abandon this run game. They do not want to get in a situation where they're one-dimensional, throwing the football every single play. They have a culture of running it. This is how they're built. They got a big offensive line. You don't want to have those guys backing up every single play. Give them an opportunity to get some rhythm themselves by running the football. You don't have to go for a touchdown every play, but get positive yards on first down, stay on schedule, and Jackson becomes a dynamic weapon off of play action.
After 3-yard pickup by Reed on first down. Jackson going to throw it again. Got his man Anthony Johnson for another Buffalo first down. Gain of 16 on the play. First big play by Anthony Johnson so far tonight.
I love the route, too. Watch him come out of the break and not round it. Bam. Puts his foot down, goes straight to the sidelines. That ball comes out on time. Timing is very important in the passing game.
And it's funny you mentioned that. He showed up in Buffalo last year, then redshirted as a very raw route runner, but he's worked so hard with the position coach, Rob Ianello, to get better at that very thing. 5 yards on first down again for Emmanuel Reed. What you've been talking about, move the football a little bit on first down, and that sets things up here on 2nd and 5.
And I'm noticing a trend from UB's backs. They're falling forward. That's always a high alert for any defensive player. If the backs are consistently falling forward, that means you're not being physical enough. You want to knock the backs back. And right now, UB's backs are falling forward, getting extra yards. That builds the confidence of not just the offensive line, but also these backs that they can make hay when they get the ball.
First down again, Buffalo, and again it's Anthony Johnson, a physical presence. 6'2", 207 from Rock Hill, South Carolina. That's just south of Charlotte, and he has brought a new dynamic to this Buffalo offense.
Hey, it's like stealing, though. I mean, if you're going to play off coverage, the stop routes and the curls are there all day. The problem is if you start playing tight coverage, that's when they go up over the top, and he's got the speed to beat you deep. When you got an offense, especially a quarterback and wide receiver, that are on the same page, they can be really beautiful to watch, and that's sort of kind of what's happening right now with 83 and number 3.
FAU bringing the heat, and Tyree Jackson eventually goes down, may have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage. Well, there's Jonathan Hawkins listed as the starting running back, but clearly without his shoulder pads on, he is not going to be playing here tonight. He suffered an undisclosed injury in week 3 against Colgate, so it's been all Emmanuel Reed and all Theo Anderson here tonight.
Yeah, they've got, again, we talked about some inexperienced backs. This was the position they wanted to see step up. Jonathan Hawkins is top 10 all time in UB career rushers. They've had a long list of really good ones. He was supposed to be the guy to be the next 1,000-yard rusher, but good for them, though. They got Emmanuel Stewart and Theo Anderson, and they're getting production out of that
backfield. Passing game working here. Going to be marked about a half a yard shy of a first down with 2:25 remaining. Antonio Nunn, a redshirt freshman, with another catch.
He's been productive this year as well, and what you're seeing is the ball is getting spread around. Andy Kodalinki is really calling a beautiful game, and Jackson got total command of his offense. He's not keen on one guy yet. He's got a stud out there in Anthony Johnson, but he's throwing the ball to the open man, and they've got a bunch of guys running open right now. They've got a nice drive going. Let's see if this FAU all defense can really step up and slow it down.
3rd and less than a yard. That's a Buffalo first down. Emmanuel Reed just put his head down. He's only 5'6", 208 pounds, but as you said, he can move that pile forward.
Yeah, he runs hard. I don't care how big and how tall you are. Forget that. And those are measurables that don't really mean as much as heart and toughness in this game of football. That'll never leave this game. As long as you're playing tackle football in pads, I want tough guys. And when I say tough guys, I don't mean guys that get chesty and want to fight. That's not, I'm talking about mentally tough guys that will run up in there, that will stick your head in, they will block. And they've got three really good backs who are tough football players. Just one of them is out, and the other two are picking up the slack.
And regardless of the injury suffered by Hawkins, the word around Buffalo has been that Emmanuel Reed has been pushing Hawkins for more and more touches. Reed coming off a tremendous performance last week. There is the offensive coordinator in his third year at Buffalo, Andy Kotelnicki. That's Theo Anderson, the redshirt freshman from Largo, Florida. And again, another 5-yard pickup on first down. You talked about the great running back tradition. Right now, Brandon Oliver is with San Diego Chargers in his 4th year. Which one of these guys, if any of them, is going to be the next in line to follow Bo to the NFL? Jackson keeps, finally sniffed out, but not until he picks up another first down.
The read option has been there for him all day. He continues to make the right decision more often than not. Watch him look at the end of the line of scrimmage. Defensive end collapse, he keeps it and runs. And look at them 24 running inside out. You see a lot of times, especially young safeties, overrun the ball. The running back, or in this case, the quarterback, will cut back and score. I'm continuing to be impressed by this Zion Gilbert. He's a good football player.
Yeah, true freshman out of Davis High School in Montgomery, Alabama, as timeout is called.
Atlantic. That is the first
FAU uses the timeout. So we talked about Brandon Oliver now with the Chargers. James Starks was around before him, spent 7 years with the Green Bay Packers, won a Super Bowl with the Packers, no longer with Green Bay, he's now a free agent.
Still don't understand why.
Well,
he can play.
They could use him. Although James Starks, I guess, sold all of his stuff about a month ago in a yard sale. So he's out of Green Bay.
Yeah.
But not until he put together a tremendous run with the Packers. Bo Oliver, meanwhile, in year number 4 with the Chargers, missed last year with an injury, but he's back serving as the number 2 running back. And how about Jordan Johnson, another 1,000-yard rusher, a local Buffalo kid who spent training camp with the Buffalo Bills here in town.
Running the football is a part of the fabric of the University of Buffalo. This is what they do, and everything else they do is built off of the running game. They've obviously got a big-time quarterback who has a chance to be maybe the best all-time they've ever had. They've got a dynamic wideout right now, but they're still a physical offense that cares about running the football and doing everything off of it.
Theo Anderson between the tackles picks up a couple of yards and then is pushed back.
See how he didn't go down, though? See the pride of staying up on his feet? I mean, that's the toughness I was talking about before. You like those backs that don't go down easy, even when the whistle's blown. Read option again. That time the inline defender did not come down. Jackson makes the right decision, leaves it in Theo's belly. But look at the pride. This is what I'm talking about here. Look at the pride. I'm not going down. You can't take me down. Get off me. I like it.
Well, Rashad Smith, the linebacker for FAU, was the one who first plugged the hole, and then his teammates got there. And that was Shelton Lewis who, the running back, was saying, get off me too.
Yeah.
They kept coming. Those are tough yards in there. Doesn't matter who you are. It's not going to come easy.
No. I mean, and you love it because you don't want guys to give up easy. I don't care if the whistle's blown or not. I'm going to stay on my feet.
So it was a 2-yard gain for Anderson. 2nd and goal from the 3. Trying to retake the lead is Buffalo. Final minute of this first half.
You continue to run the football, you try to throw the ball for a touchdown.
Whistle before the snap.
Full start. Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's Jaquise Webb, junior right tackle from Gates Chili High School, about an hour east of here in Rochester. Former Rutgers Scarlet Knight who transferred back to Western New York to play for Lance Leipold, and this year he's gone right into the starting lineup. But his mistake cost his team 5 yards. A 2nd down and goal from the 8.
Coaches pull their hair out for pre-snap penalties.
Jackson just driven back. FAU comes up with the football, but I think the play was whistled dead before they got it.
Remember we talked about the backs falling forward? Well, no backfield forward on that one. That was a run-through tackle right there.
Karan Hafiz, the freshman from Jacksonville, bringing the lumber.
Yeah, watch him run his feet on contact. Jackson's trying to look for a crease up inside. Starting to break a tackle. No, you're not going to break that one, young man. That's how you tackle. And if you're looking at this as a fan, you wonder, okay, wait a minute, there's some head-to-head contact there. Well, when the running back, or I should say when the quarterback's a runner, the rules change for him now. He's out of the pocket. He's no longer protected in the way that he is if he was a back or drop back passer. Once he starts to run the football, he becomes just like everybody else. So you'll get some head contact. As long as it's not spearing, it's legal. Beautiful. Look at that. Shoulder into the chest, runs his feet on contact, got great leverage. That's how you take a ball carrier back. That'll get you fired up now.
Well, you know, you watch those knees for anybody, and Tyree Jackson missed the last 2 games last year with a knee injury. Still wears a brace on that knee, and so far so good, but you can see the look on his face as we got a glimpse there that he's not feeling real good about things right now as he got bent backwards.
Yeah, and they're getting Drew Anderson ready to get in that offensive huddle. And if you're a UB fan, you're nervous right now. All right, that's your franchise right there. And like you said, he looks very uncomfortable. And you just got to hope right now that it's not anything serious. But he got bent back pretty good there, partner.
And so Drew Anderson, a former walk-on at San Diego State University from Orinda, California, steps into a big spot here with 34 seconds remaining in the half. He hands off to Emmanuel Reed, and he is stepped up at the 5. That brings up 4th down and goal with the clock still running at 23 seconds to go.
You just knew that they weren't going to throw the football with a guy coming off cold, right? And Rashard Smith knew it wasn't going to happen. Does a great job of scraping outside, unblocked, and chesting the ball carrier up, big manning him up. You love it. Run the feet on contact. That's the way you play. If they're not going to block you as a linebacker, you better make the play.
Bulls use their 3rd timeout, final timeout of the half. Yeah, we have seen Rashard Smith make a number of big plays so far tonight. Tayoka, he's a young man out of Florida City, Florida, who originally committed to Syracuse as a safety, wound up flipping and going to FAU, and now in his 2nd year with the Owls, you see he's clearly developed into a very good linebacker.
Yeah, there's no question about it. 6'2", 210 pounds, not very big, but can run. And again, I don't care how big you are if that heart is huge. And so he does not shy away from contact, and he'll grow. He's only a sophomore. He'll grow into that body of his. But what I like about him is generally when he puts his hat on somebody, the play stops right there. You don't see him missing a lot of tackles. And with Aziz Shair out, you need a guy that's going to step up and make plays, and number 7 has done that the entire first half.
Yeah, we've called his number repeatedly, and as you saw in space, he made the one-on-one hit to keep the running back from getting into the end zone. So out of the timeout, Buffalo will go for a tying field goal. It'll be a 23-yard attempt for Adam Mitchison, junior from Pittsburgh. It's good. He's hearing a different voice. He's not used to the cadence of the backup quarterback. He's used to what Tyree was doing, or what?
It's because he's listening at all. You can't listen to the quarterback. I have caught in the years. You go on movement as a defensive lineman. Never listen to the quarterback. They'll do that to you and play with your starting count all day. In the years, young fella.
But as a 12-year defensive lineman in the NFL, that's got to be easier said than done.
It is, but that's what coaching is for. You got to hit it every single day. With Rod Marinelli, who I think is the greatest D-line coach who ever lived, we worked it every day, stance and starts every single day.
By the way, one of the all-time great defensive coordinators in the history of the NFL is in the building. He's the father of the head coach for FAU. That's Monty Kiffin, Lane's dad, who is now on the staff as a defensive assistant. And you, by the way, spent a few years playing for him for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that famed Tampa 2 defense.
I did, and what a great coach he was. He really excelled at teaching. I mean, that was his thing. He taught that what we call Tampa 2. We didn't call it Tampa 2 then, but what's known as Tampa 2 now, he taught it so well, broke it down really easy for everybody to understand.
Off play action. Anthony Johnson still fighting. He gets near midfield, and we've got more flags down. And by the way, as an owl is slow to get up, it looks like Herb Miller, junior linebacker. But, you know, during Monty Kiffin's tremendous career, he spent a couple of years as an assistant coach here in Buffalo for the Bills. And so for those 2 years, when little Lane Kiffin was a 4th and 5th grader, he went to school here in Buffalo. He lived in Western New York. Now, they lived all over the country. He was in the Iroquois school system here in Western New York. You know, 9 years ago, he came here to Buffalo within this week. It was 9 years ago this week. He came with the Raiders and played the Bills. Now he's back in town, but coaching for FAU against UB.
How about this defensive staff as we listen to the call?
Offensive pass interference, number 81. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 67. That is number 67's first unsportsmanlike foul of the game. Both penalties will be enforced.
So the first penalty, Tyler Mabry, the tight end, and then more importantly, Evan Kazarzak, the sophomore left tackle from West Seneca, New York, one of the locals on the roster, first-year starter, gets his unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. And good to see that Herb Miller's able to get off the field under his own power.
I was going to touch on that defensive staff we had in Tampa.
Yeah.
It was led by Monty Kiffin, but
you've heard of a few of these guys.
Yeah, right. Herm Edwards was our defensive back coach, right? I mean, he's obviously a colleague at ESPN, but he was a head coach both in the Kansas City Chiefs and the New York Jets. But he started as a DB coach and came to us and really had those DBs really rolling. He had Rod Marinelli, who's a defense coordinator at Dallas Cowboys. He was the guy that taught me everything I know and had that great defensive line humming, led by Warren Sapp and Chidi Ahanotu and a bunch of guys up front that we predicated to rush the pass of that Tampa 2 defense. Our linebacker coach was Lovie Smith, and that was the head coach of the University of Illinois, former head coach Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and also Chicago Bears. We went to the Super Bowl, and our head coach was Tony Dungy.
Oh, by the way.
Right. He brought that defense from Minnesota where he really perfected it there. So, I mean, defensively, Tampa, we were great because we had great players and great coaching. You get great players and great coaching coming together, you got a chance to be something special.
And I tell you, Tyoka, I don't know any of those guys personally like you do. Big hole up the middle for Buffalo. And on what was 1st and 40, not bad for the Bulls to get away from their own goal line. But from what I know of each of those guys you just talked about, as we take another look at the big hole for Emmanuel Reed.
Look at the patience from Reed. He started to the right, cut back to the left. He's a run-to-daylight type of back. Those are the backs you like. You get scared when you got run-to-darkness guys. They just run to the offensive line and hit whoever they see. But he's patient. He's got some quick feet. And, again, I like these backs. They got to continue to run the football. It's going to be interesting to see if they load the box, are they going to trust their new quarterback to throw the ball downfield.
Reed again. Still on his feet, across the 30. Pushed out of bounds at the 36. But just to finish up on that coaching staff that you played for with the Buccaneers, those all are quality guys as well.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Football is a people game. I mean, we know we talk about X's and O's and talent all the time, but really, the coaches who are successful long-term, they understand it's a people game. You got to have really good people generally make really good football teams. And you talk about discipline, hard work, and toughness. We had a lot of those guys, and it was a beautiful thing to be a part of.
And even though Coach Dungy didn't get you guys to the Super Bowl championship in Tampa, obviously John Gruden got in and got that done. It was nice to see Coach Dungy get his Super Bowl title with the Colts a few years later.
He laid the foundation, for sure. That's a nice throw by Anderson, by the way.
Anderson to Kamati Holsey.
Yeah, they rolled the pocket the other way and threw back to the wide side of the field, which means they have confidence in the arm strength of young Anderson.
Well, after being 1st and 40, they get it to 4th and 2. And while they will punt it away, that was a tremendous last 3 plays for UB.
Yeah, the field had tipped the wrong way for UB. They got a lot of yardage back, and so now they can punt from midfield, which is a big difference than punting inside your 10.
Ball takes a Buffalo bounce and will come to rest inside the 10-yard line down to the 8. Buffalo, Florida Atlantic, deadlock at 17. UB Stadium was built in 1993 for the World University Games, but now 24 years later, the university is going to tear down those stands in the north end zone, and they will be replaced by a much-needed field house that will help this UB football program going forward.
Yeah, recruiting is as much about an arms race as it is about the personalities of the coaches. You've got to be able to show recruits that you're committed to player development. You're committed to creating a great environment for the young people. An indoor facility is much needed here. Everybody else has it. UB is coming with theirs, and it's going to be state-of-the-art.
Well, you got to keep up with those you recruit against in the Mid-American Conference and Conference USA, American Conference. And so you need to be able to bring these recruits in and show them that you are committed to winning. Cameron Solomon, a senior from Jacksonville. Big gain on first down, pickup of 7.
Tried to run the jet sweep there, but Jordan Collier wasn't having any of it. He stayed home, played his outside leverage responsibility, and made the tackle after playing off a block.
Yeah, Tioka Collier was recruited as a safety, played that as a freshman, but they've moved him into a linebacker role and a starting role this year to get his speed out on the field more regularly as DeAndre McNeil is dropped near the first down marker.
And went jet sweep the other way. Why not? Good blocking on the perimeter, move the chains.
And why is it so important for Buffalo to have Ishmael Hargrove, who was so productive last year? 103 tackles as a starter, now as a reserve. So the starters are Franklin Hodge in the middle and Jordan Collier on the other side.
You know, when you got really good players, you love to see good players coming off the bench. This is what happens when you start to stack up really good players. But you need depth, quality depth. Everybody's got guys in uniform, but it's the quality depth that puts you over the top. And that's what Hargrove represents for this UB defense.
Devin Singletary for 5, and there's a look at number 41, Jared Franklin, one of the co-captains. He and Khalil Hodge both co-captains for this team. Franklin missed all of 2015 with a back injury, and actually, you know what? On a big second down pickup, that's the tight end, Harrison Bryant, who had a reception in the first quarter flagged off, would have gone for a touchdown. That's his first official reception of the night.
Nice job by Driscoll getting that ball out of his hand quickly.
Singletary cuts it up across the 40. That's a pickup of 3. You know, Jared Franklin is the only UB Bull still around who actually played with the great Khalil Mack. Mack's senior year was the true freshman year of Jared Franklin. So he's the one guy who can say, I played with perhaps the greatest defensive player in the NFL. I mean, he was the NFL Defensive Player of the Year last season. Came right here from the University at Buffalo.
Yeah, heck of a player. I think that although Jadeveon Clowney is starting to come along, I'm not so sure if you redraft that thing, they don't take Khalil Mack because they needed an outside linebacker in a 3-4 scheme. That's exactly what he did here. Tremendous pass rusher. Great football player now for the Raiders, who are maybe one day going to be the Las Vegas Raiders.
And you know, Khalil Mack, his younger brother's actually on this Buffalo roster now. His name is Ladarius Mack. He's a junior linebacker. Doesn't play much, but good bloodlines, getting those young men out of Florida. Pass down the right sideline, a little bit long and out of the reach of the receiver.
Good job of the pass rush of UB making the quarterback move off his spot. Generally, when you get a quarterback who wants to be a pocket passer moving off his spot, it's going to make the throws more inaccurate and erratic. And he had a man downfield, but he's got to do it under pressure. Just couldn't make that happen with that throw. Watch the pressure come in, make him move off his spot. Tougher throw on the move now. Singletary had his guy beat, but couldn't get that ball where it needed to be for him to catch it.
Got a matchup they like. The running back being defended by linebacker Gaddafi Wright, just couldn't make him pay. Fair catch. Ball lands at about the 20 and is going to take a bounce inside the 10. Nice job by FAU's punter Ryan Rickle, the senior from Fort Lauderdale, puts UB in a tough spot.
Got to catch that punt, partner.
Got to catch that punt. A 51-yard punt became a 51-yard punt right before this last break because Martinez for Buffalo allowed that football to land and roll. What do you think about that, partner?
You got to call fair catch and go up and field that ball if you're Martinez. He's a senior. There's no excuse for that. This is quickly becoming a field position game, and you lose 14 yards just by not throwing your hand up. The defenders have got to back away, or it's a penalty on them. Throw your hand up, go up there and catch that football, and you'll have the ball on the 22 instead of the 8-yard line.
And so again, with starting quarterback Tyree Jackson done for the day with a presumed knee injury, Drew Anderson hands it off on first down, backed up against their own goal line. Emmanuel Reed, sophomore from Crestview, Florida, on the short pickup. Again, Rashad Smith making the tackle.
I saw that 3-4 defense by FAU. They only had 6 guys in the box, really. And I thought this was going to be a great opportunity to run the football. But, you know, big number 92 and number 7, they combined to make a heck of a play on that run and kept that to a very minimal game for the football.
Yeah, the big number 92 is from Kailua, Hawaii, on the island of Oahu. Beautiful part of the state. Pass complete. Nice job by Antonio Nunn to get around the would-be tackler and get out to the 30-yard line.
Nice ball, too, right?
Sure was. Well, he's clean in the pocket, right?
He is. Play fake. Threw a little bit off his back foot, but very accurate throw. And another stop route. These DBs are bailing to stop the long runs. Buffalo's been a big play offense, and so they've seen the film. They don't want to get beat deep. They're backing off at the snap. The underneath route's there all day.
And yards after catch, a big stat as well. Maybe a gain of 3 on first down for Emmanuel Reed. You know, he's got a brother, Micah Reed, who's also a running back at Division I at UCF down in Orlando, not far from their Crestview, Florida home. Emmanuel was a standout at Sebastian River High School. And he was buried on the depth chart as a freshman, played in only 3 games last year, but got the start tonight and knocking on the door to become the everyday starter for Buffalo. Off play action. Pitch and catch for first down and more across the 50. That's Anthony Johnson, the cousin of Jadeveon Clowney. And they're close, you know, off of Buffalo's first game this season as we take another look. You know, Anthony Johnson, his first game as a Division I football player against Minnesota, 11 catches, 140 yards, and a touchdown. Jadeveon reached out to his cousin immediately and congratulate him and say, welcome to D1 football.
Gave him some love. But you know what I was really impressed with that last play? Drew Anderson's ball handling. And you're starting to see his confidence grow with every play as well.
Emmanuel Reed bounces off a couple of tacklers for a gain of 3. And there's the man they call AJ. Spent a couple of years at 2 different junior colleges. And he has lots of family members who are excellent football players.
Yeah. And the apples don't fall far from the tree in that family. I mean, really good athletes. He's so explosive, though. He's going to really be a big part, whether Jackson's back there slinging it or Anderson. He's going to be a big part of what Buffalo does as they get into MAC conference play. They're going to rely on him for their big plays all year.
Second down and 7. Reed in motion. The give is up the middle. Nice hole for Theo Anderson. It'll bring up 3rd down and 2.
Balance. You got to love the balance right now that UB's showing. They know they've got their backup quarterback in, and the best thing that you can do for a new quarterback is run the football, because that creates problems. The defense has to make a decision. Are they going to put extra guys in the box to slow the run game down as you spread them out, or are they going to be committed to stop the pass and continue to have running lanes? Either way, as long as you protect, Drew Anderson so far early has shown he can throw the football as well.
Lowering his head and shoulder pads again, Theo Anderson, and he bowls his way for another first down.
Great contact there.
Well, you know what? The offensive coordinator for Buffalo, Andy Kotelnicki, told us earlier this week that his offensive line showed a little bit of nasty in week 3 against Colgate, and I think we're seeing a little bit of that on this drive.
Any offensive line in the world who's ever played the game loves to run the football. That gets them fired up. That gets them loosened up. Kotelnicki knows that, and so that's why he's staying balanced, because as long as they stay confident, offensive line, in terms of that run game, they'll give you extra and better effort when it's time to pass the ball as well.
Fake the handoff. Drew Anderson fires a strike along the right side to Jacob Martinez. It's another Buffalo first down.
Yeah.
Inside the red zone.
And Martinez makes it up a little bit for that not feeling the punt back there. It hasn't really slowed the offense down. But again, I'm starting to get impressed now with this Anderson guy. Watch the ball handling. Fakes the jet sweep. He's feeling confident, not much of a pass rush to speak of, can step into the throw and deliver his own ball. Maybe he does not have the natural talent and the arm talent of a Jackson, but it's good enough, isn't it?
16-yard pickup. 1st and 10 at the 19-yard line. Buffalo trying to retake the lead. Anderson picks his way through the line. Another nice pickup on 1st down. Remember, Buffalo jumped out to a 14-0 lead tonight. Tyree Jackson and company looked like they were going to be unstoppable off of their first 2 drives. But since that time, Coach Leipold's club has only put 3 more points on the board.
Yeah, and the momentum is starting to get back to them offensively. They're starting to get 1st down plays that are getting positive yardage. It keeps them on schedule. Put this in your back pocket now. I mean, we know Jackson's out. He's a much better runner on paper than Drew Anderson, but that read option with the keeper, the quarterback, seems to be there. Nobody's out there honoring Anderson to keep that ball and come around the corner.
Anderson comes set next to Drew Anderson. The give is back to Theo Anderson, and he runs over a defender for a 1st down.
Offensive line play. It's not sexy, but it's beautiful to watch when it's clicking. Look at the center right there, James O'Hagan. That ball cuts back over the middle because O'Hagan opened the thing up.
Zion Gilbert not afraid to step in there, but he got run over by number 11 in black.
We've talked about toughness of backs falling forward. That's what we're talking about right there. That permeates through the whole team now. Yeah. The defense sees it from the sidelines. It gets them fired up too. Trust me, I've been there.
1st and goal from about the 7. Theo Anderson again makes his way in to the end zone for a Buffalo touchdown.
Good, tough running by Anderson. But I want you to look at Tyler Mabry. Look at him go to the next level and get the 2nd block that springs Anderson. And that's allowing him to run over the defender to finish the run off. And a great job of finishing the run off, too, with physicality. He's been doing it all day in Anderson, but I love the blocking by Tyler Mabry. He's done a great job all night. He's made some catches, too, but blocking, he's been exceptional.
Mitchison makes it 24-17. Buffalo back in front. Let's take another look at some of the blocking up front for that last touchdown by Theo Anderson.
Keep your eyes on Tyler Mabry. Watch him start the double with Kazarzik and come off on Harris. Now, he didn't pancake Harris, but what he did is he softened it up and let Anderson finish the runoff. Again, goes in motion, starts the double, and he could have stayed on the double, but watch him go looking for work on the 2nd level. He's going to help Kazarzik seal the edge. Now, bam, right here. That's just enough. That's all a guy like Anderson needs to get even with the defender. And if he's even, he's leaving because he's going to finish it off running behind his pads. That's great job of combo blocking by a really good tight end, and I've been impressed. He's a dual tight end. He can block inside the box, but he can also get downfield and catch the ball.
And I'll tell you what, Tyoka, we didn't point it out, but big number 72, Paul Nosworthy, who is getting extended playing time with a presumed injury suffered by left guard Brandon Menesalvis, was tremendous as well. He pancaked his man and helped open up that hole for Theo Anderson.
Yeah, as we said, they're getting warmed up. Offensive line can get in a rhythm as well. And because of the amount of run plays being called by Andy Kodanicki, they're getting in a really beautiful rhythm. They're fired up. They're controlling the football game when they have the ball. And when you got a big offensive line who's really successful at getting on blocks to the 2nd level, you got a chance to have big runs as the game rolls on because these defenders begin to wear down, and those DBs don't want to tackle so much these big, strong running backs in the 3rd and 4th quarter.
There's a good look at big number 72, Paul Nosworthy. Western New York native who's transferred back to Buffalo. Menesalvis still there. You see him in pads, so maybe still available. But on that last touchdown run, it was big number 72. Hey, how about the Anderson boys for Buffalo on that last drive? Theo Anderson and Drew Anderson, the running back and the quarterback, no relation. Theo, 5 carries, 26 yards and a touchdown. Drew Anderson, more impressively, 3 for 3, 59 yards passing the football. First action of his college career.
And what I really like is neither one of them are starters.
Yeah,
they just answering the bell, next man up. And I've also noticed defensively for Buffalo, Mr. Khalil Hodge is starting to get revved up. Now his name's getting called more and more. He's starting to get into the ball game and starting to make plays.
He can make plays. Minnesota Golden Gophers know about that. Opening week, 20 tackles against a Big Ten team.
That's all. He was the MAC player of the week because of it.
Second team all-conference last year, 7th in the country last year with over 10 tackles per game.
Big play in the ball game right here. If you're FAU, you have got to get a first down to keep your defense off the field.
3rd down and 8. Jason Driscoll's going to go down. Malcolm Kuntz, the freshman from Peekskill, New York. That's his first career sack.
This has been the problem all year for FAU. They're only converting 26% on 3rd down. It's a big-time rush by number 50. Starts to come inside, decides to come away from it, gets around the corner, really unblocked. Makes the play for UB. But again, the lack of converting on 3rd down continues to haunt this Owls offense.
Kuntz is a true freshman, but after Archbishop Stepinac High School a couple of years ago, he played 1 year prep school ball at Milford Academy in New Berlin, New York. That's about 3.5 hours southeast of where we are here, where at that school he actually was a teammate of one of his opponents tonight, Tyreek Tisdale. Another one of the guys came up from Florida, played prep school ball in upstate New York, and has gone back down south to FAU. But for Kuntz, that's his first college sack, and he looked good doing it.
And you'll never forget your first. Trust me. I remember both of my first in college and in the NFL.
Tell me.
Well, I started the NFL was against the Detroit Lions. I remember a rip and re-rip coming around the corner and getting a big sack, and then against the Texas Longhorns, got my first sack in my career.
In Austin?
No, at Penn State.
At Penn State.
Never forget it.
Nice. With Tyoka Jackson, I'm Doug Sherman here in Buffalo, New York. And this time, Drew Anderson goes down. He tried to get rid of the football. Dangerous play.
Very dangerous.
But it looks like they say he was down before releasing that football. And to make life difficult for him was Hayden Nagel, a 3-year walk-on, placed on scholarship last August for FAU.
Had his first sack of the season last week against Bethune. Also added 2 tackles.
As a young man, despite only being on scholarship the last couple of years, 4 career sacks out of Sickles High School in Tampa.
Yeah, right around my way.
And that'll do it for the 3rd quarter. FAU's offense still to produce any points here in the second half, but they are on the move one more time. Big Drew Anderson's making this Division I football thing look pretty easy. A perfect 4 for 4 passing the football since coming into this ballgame.
Been so impressed, and clearly he stayed in the game plan. He's prepared every day. He's getting all the scout team reps, but clearly he's taking it seriously. And as a backup player, you never know when your number is going to be called. He could have packed it in mentally, knowing that he's got one of the better quarterbacks in front of him in UB history who's a younger player, but no. Clearly, he stayed up and ready to go every single day, and is paying dividends when they need him right now.
4 for 4 passing, 72 yards, this time on the run. Again, Buffalo with blockers out front. It's a big pickup for Jamarl Island.
Team captain. The jet sweep has been a big part of this UB game plan, and they're running it really, really well. Getting a lot of good blocking downfield, wide receivers on DBs. And they've got some skill position guys, too, who know what to do with the football in space.
Well, with the change in quarterbacks here in the second half, Buffalo's been running the football more than they did in the first, as you might imagine. First half, play selection for the Bulls, 31-18 run to pass. So far, 14-4, now 14-5. There's Island again for a Buffalo first down.
And as you see, they're still throwing the ball every now and then to keep the defense honest. It's definitely flipped into a run-first offense, a run-heavy offense, but every now and then, they're throwing some really good, safe passes. There we go, all slant. He catches the receiver on the inside part of the field and catches. Nice job catching Ireland in one-on-one situation. A really good pass. He's accurate. He's feeling good about himself. He's in a really good rhythm right now, and the offensive line continues to give him time to scan the field.
Yeah, those big nasties up front, led by their captain, the center from Seaford, New York, James O'Hagan. Little screen pass to Anthony Johnson. He steps out of bounds inside the 30.
That's as good as a run play on a perimeter. Just a nice smoke route. The DBs continue to give ground, and Johnson is very reliable, and he's also explosive. So if you give him the ball in space, anything can happen. But they'll take an 8-yard or 7-yard game on first down all day.
There's big James O'Hagan. Very self-critical. He's thirsty for knowledge. studies as much film as anybody, third team all-conference. One of many guys on this team for Buffalo, former state wrestling champion. And he was a New York State champ.
And he wears the war paint well, too, on his face.
He does. Leading the way once again. This time it's Theo Anderson, the recipient. And it's another Buffalo first down.
That time I saw Evan Kazarek pancake his guy. This offensive line is in a beautiful rhythm, as we talked about.
Number 67 in black. There you go.
But look at 77. I mean, he's still blocking his guy. When you get your D lineman on skates, that's when you know you're dominating right now. And O'Hagan's got it going, too. He's dominating his man in front of him. You win the one-on-one battles up front, your team's got a chance to win the ball game.
You keep working pancakes into the broadcast. I think you're hungry, man. Theo Anderson.
Look at me.
Well, you said off the top this was going to be potentially better than a stack of blueberry pancakes.
Yeah, and
what kind of syrup?
Well, no, you go old-fashioned syrup. Okay. I mean, you don't need to. You're going blueberries. Let the blueberries do the work.
Really?
Yeah, of course. You
all
don't
right.
need to get all fancy with the syrup, man. But you need some butter. A lot of butter.
No, I'm a syrup guy regardless.
Okay. A lot of syrup, a lot of butter, man.
But is this as good as a stack of good pancakes
So far, so
right.
good. Absolutely.
All right, you would know. Second down and 10. Flag before the snap.
Full start. Offense, number 67, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Yeah, William Davis, the defensive lineman, number 42 in white, knew it. He knew that Evan Kazarzak had committed the penalty. And so that'll push the Bulls back a little bit.
And that hurts. That hurts. You have second and manageable. Now you're second and long. If you're FAU, you're on the edge of field goal yardage for UB, I should say. But if you're FAU, you just need to come up with 2 big plays, and you might get out of here without the scoreboard being changed.
Drew Anderson has his pass deflected at the line of scrimmage, so it'll bring up third down and long.
Pre-snap penalties have been an issue for both teams in this game.
Let's see who got a big paw up there on the first incompletion of the night for Drew Anderson. 48 is Kevin McCrary, a sophomore from Daytona Beach.
When that ball comes out quickly, you got to get your hands up as a defensive lineman. Although 6'5", Drew Anderson has a nice launch point, you never know as a D lineman. You have no chance on those quick throws. Get your hands up and see if you can get that ball in the ground. Big play here for FAU.
The tight end Mabry in motion. They'll run it on third and long. And that will set up a field goal attempt, presumably for Adam Mitchison, who doesn't have great range and has struggled this year. You know, the season opener against Minnesota missed both of his attempts from 40 and 33 yards. One of them was blocked, one he just missed. And his season long this year is only 26 yards. So let's see if he's got the leg for it. He has gone for more than 42 before. This is a 42-yard attempt. His career long is 45.
He's got to drive that ball to lower trajectory. This is a block opportunity.
Plenty of leg. It is good. So Mitchison, the junior out of Kiski Area High School in Pittsburgh, extends the lead to 10.
All that negative stuff you had to say, Doug, he says, I'm going to drill this thing.
Yep.
Beautiful kick. Get a kid credit. He stepped up, and they needed him to make a play, and he did.
Well, since missing those 2 at Minnesota, he's yet to miss this year, and he's got his team up 27-17. Well, after a slow start to the season, Adam Mitchison, the place kicker for Buffalo, let's say he's feeling better about himself here tonight. Let's take a listen. Little Ric Flair there, maybe.
There you go. I like a kicker that gets fired up. Listen, we don't even, as football players, we don't even think about kickers until they need them, right? When it's time for them to step up and make a play, that's when you start thinking about your kicker. And Mitchison did just that. He's had some frustration this year, but you got to give the kid credit. Came out and drilled that one. 2-possession ball game now.
Well, that was his longest field goal
of
the year, and then he kicks it out of bounds.
There you go. See?
Take the good with the bad.
That's why you don't give kickers too much love. See? They feel a little good about themselves, and he wants to blast the ball, and now it goes out of bounds, and you give field position, undue field position to the Owls offense, and now you're feeling the way you normally feel about kickers. Heck.
Did you ever have a kicker during your years at Penn State or your 12 years in the NFL who really was part of the team, where you felt like he's one of the guys and you didn't treat him like a lot of kickers apparently are treated?
Nope. Absolutely not. No, and I played with some really good kickers. But no, they're never really a part of the team because they spend half the day inside drinking Gatorade watching us practice. Now, you'll carry a kicker off, though, if he wins a game winner with a field goal.
Pass is dropped by Willie Wright. You know what? John Franklin III, who we've talked about, number 12 in white for Florida Atlantic, who started his career for a couple years at Florida State, playing quarterback, played last year at Auburn as a quarterback, now a grad transfer at FAU. He's a wide receiver, knows that's where his future is going to be. But I saw a quote from him earlier this week saying, you know what? I really, instead of being a quarterback or a wide receiver, I should be a kicker because those guys don't have to do anything.
Exactly.
They don't pay as well to be a kicker. Incomplete. Good defense to disallow that pass by Tatum Slack.
Well, the problem with this drive started with Willie Wright dropping the pass because he was looking to make moves before he looked it all the way in and squeezed the ball. First things first, catch the football, then turn upfield. Now UB has some momentum defensively, and that was a scary one right there.
And you know what? That lineman might have gotten a fingertip on that pass as well.
Well, Slack got more than a fingertip, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
He came up and made a nice play to get that ball on the ground.
3rd and long. Driscoll pass complete to Bryant. Still on his feet, breaking tackles, and it's a big first down for the Owls.
Driscoll's pass complete to Harrison Bryant.
Big missed tackle by Hargrove, and when UB struggles defensively, it's generally
12-yard gain.
missed tackles. And watch the referee getting away. Hargrove has to play off the ref, but you still got to make that play, though.
Now the pile gets pushed forward by the offensive line for FAU.
But this has been a game of swings, ebb and flows. Teams are losing momentum, stealing it back. Right now, you're seeing FAU's offensive line begin to assert itself by dominating the line of scrimmage. And just like for the Bulls, that offensive line can be the catalyst for this offense.
Lane Kiffin's club trying to cut back into that 10-point deficit. Devin Singletary, not much room to run. Gain of maybe a yard. They spotted at the 46-yard line.
But at least it's 3rd and manageable now. They got a really good positive yards on first down. That sets it up. Now you have a lot available to you if you Kendall Briles to call whatever you want to call just to pick up 3 yards, 3.5 yards.
Is that Chuck Harris? Trying to figure out who for sure that is for Buffalo. If it's 92, it's Harris. And that does look like Harris on the back of his jersey. He's somebody who has had a real good year. Junior from Detroit out of Southfield High School, and who didn't start playing football at all until he was a high school player. And he's got a big future in this sport, possibly at the professional level, and good to see at 6'4", 265, he's able to trot off the field.
Only played 3 years in high school, so he's still getting a lot of OJT himself, on-the-job training. But they really like him, and they're excited about his future.
I tell you, he had 18 tackles all of last year as a sophomore. Through 3 weeks this season, he had 18 tackles.
Yeah, that's improvement.
Getting the opportunity and taking advantage of it. 3rd and 3. And so there's Justin Brandon, junior from Indianapolis, in the football game, along with Chris Ford, big number 58, who also has had a real good year so far for the Bulls.
Now, the clock is not quite an issue yet, but we're under 10 minutes, and the clock is running. FAU needs this first down.
On 3rd down, he's not going to get there. Kareth White ran into a wall of black and had nowhere to go. Clock continues to run, and if you're Lane Kiffin, what do you do here on 4th down?
I think you got to kick the ball. I don't think that you go for it here with a short field. You can pin him back, but obviously he disagrees. He's going to go for it, but Mr. Hodge shows up again. He didn't make a lot of plays in the first half, but this second half has belonged to him.
Yeah, he's into double digits now for tackles, is Khalil Hodge. On the rollout, pass and catch. It's a first down conversion, a huge play for FAU's DeAndre McNeil.
You saw Tatum Slack have to make a decision, go for the ball or go for the tackle. It's 4th down. The safer play would have been to go for the tackle, maybe keep him out of first down range. He decided to go for the ball, didn't get it.
And here comes that FAU tempo again, and the UB defense not quite as crisp on that running play, as Devin Singletary was again able to pick his way for a gain of 8.
When a defense gives up a 4th down, it can be very deflating. You're starting to see fatigue start to become an issue for the guys in black. This up-tempo offense is starting to pay really good dividends in terms of attrition for FAU.
And don't forget, temperature here in western New York today was well into the 80s. It's a comfortable evening, but it's been a long, hot evening for both sides. DeAndre McNeil, the former Texas Longhorn, with another first down for FAU.
Kendall Briles is moving the pocket for his quarterback, getting him away from the pocket and getting away from linemen coming at him, and he's starting to catch a rhythm even by moving with his feet moving. It's a difference between movement that's designed and getting pressure to move.
Singletary breaks free and isn't brought down until he gets to the 4-3-yard line.
Missed tackles, missed tackles, missed tackles. It's been a problem all year. Let's count the missed tackles here. There's one.
We're not going to have time because FAU won't let us. Singletary bounces it outside,
Same thing.
breaks a tackle, and he's in for an FAU touchdown. 3-yard touchdown run for the Deerfield Beach native.
You got to win the one-on-one battles. And the one-on-one battles is sometimes the guy with the ball carry. Beautiful move. Great jump cut, though. Watch the jump cut to get outside. Boom. Now, there's a missed tackle there. That's all she wrote when it's that close to the goal line.
Well, some big-time programs were after Devin Singletary, who originally committed to Illinois. Also had offers from Wake Forest, North Carolina, USF. And a big answer for FAU. Long drive capped off by the Singletary touchdown run, and we've got ourselves a 3-point ball game. FAU's Devin Singletary making people miss, Tioka.
When you're 5'9", you got leverage when you walk out the building. Look at the cuts, though, and look at the missed tackles. I mean, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, and Williamson finishes off right here. Now watch this jump cut. This makes Ryan Williamson look really bad. Boom! That's a quick guy. Now he's going to run through the other tackle. Missed tackles has plagued this UB defense all year, but you got to give credit to Motor Singleton because he's got that motor revved up. His 6.37 yards per carry is second all time in FAU behind Lucky Whitehead, who's in the pros right now.
You know, he was a 1,000-yard rusher as a true freshman last year.
Yeah.
He has reached the 100-yard mark now 6 times in his career. 4 of those 6 are for 140 or better. And how about in the Owl Bowl last November? Rice Owls couldn't stop the FAU Owl. Devin Singletary, as a freshman, true freshman, a program record 252 yards rushing.
And I'll do one better. He had 366 all-purpose yards and 3 touchdowns versus Middle Tennessee. And 235 was rushing. So this guy can play. I mean, there's no question about it. It reminds me, again, don't get too excited about this. I mean, he's a poor man's Barry Sanders. I mean, with that low. So, yeah, I know. Listen, I still got nightmares of that. I'm just saying the low center of gravity and the quickness with the jump cuts, the 2-foot jump cuts. Oh, you don't teach those things. That is God-given talent, and he's got that type of quickness.
We have anybody watching in Stillwater, Oklahoma right now. I'm not sure they appreciate that.
I understand.
Boy, that's high praise, and I understand it.
I'm not saying he's Barry, but those were Barry-like moves is all I'm saying. That's all. I'll leave it there, all right? I've done enough with that.
So with Singletary helping drive FAU down the field to get back within 3, Buffalo trying to reassert itself with just over 7 minutes to go, and they've gone back to the ground game here.
What they need right now is a nice, long, ground-oriented drive. You see how long they're taking in that huddle? This is what they need right now. They need to churn out about 5 to 6 minutes off that clock, preferably, end it with a score, and that'll be all they need. Easier said than done, though.
Theo Anderson to give up the gut right near the first down. He had to get the 35, and it looks like it is a first down.
You can draw up defenses and say, okay, this guy has this hole, this guy has that hole, but what you can't draw up is the will of a back. He's going to run through contact or not, and unfortunately he's down, but that was really tough, hard running by Theo Anderson.
Well, he's the hammer for this running attack, and he showed it, but sometimes you pay the price.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because this is his time of the ball game. Like you said, the hammer offenses practice all the time. They need long drives, tough running, and this is the guy they turn to.
And again, it's Rashad Smith, number 7 in white for FAU, plugging that hole and taking the tough hit on the other side.
Yeah, we need to get a tackle total on this guy because he's made a lot of plays today. He stepped up with Azeez Al-Shire out. Didn't even play today, one down, suited up, but just couldn't go. And number 7 has stepped up big time for the visiting team. Put a really nice hit. That was good contact on both sides. Theo Anderson ran his feet, was able to get the first down, but he's the guy still on the ground.
Well, Rashad Smith with the big hit, and that'll send us to break for this injury timeout at UB Stadium. Well, Theo Anderson was helped off the field and right onto the trainer's table. There you see number 11 in black for Buffalo, who just got a hard-fought first down for the Bulls. It's been a running kind of game, physical kind of game, Tyoka Jackson, and both these teams, as expected, have been able to run that football.
Yeah, 50 attempts for Buffalo, 25 passes, 203 yards. Is over 4 yards an attempt. They had 58 rushing attempts last week against Colgate. And that, so that's not the most attempts this year. And then, Florida Atlantic, who, again, Lane Kiffin said we need to run the ball some. Well, they've done better than that in this ball game.
Problem for Buffalo is 3 of their top 4 running backs, if you include Tyree Jackson, are now sidelined with injury. There's Tyree, who went down late in the first half here tonight with a presumed knee injury. Obviously on crutches, he's done for the night. Don't know his long-term prognosis. Jonathan Hawkins, because of injury, the starting tailback, hasn't played tonight. So that leaves you with Emmanuel Reed, who with this run has gone over the century mark for the 2nd straight game.
Yeah, and if they got another back, we don't know who it is. Okay, so Jonathan Hawkins, this is your life. They're going to try to carry. He's going to try to carry his team to victory. This is going to be a run game the rest of the ball game. FAU knows it. We know it. Everybody in the stadium knows it. And so we're going to see what kind of manhood the guys in black have and the guys in white both. Really good blocking all day from these receivers. But Johnson, 83, stepping up there and providing a lane for his back.
Drew Anderson at quarterback. Hands off to Emmanuel Reed, who had nowhere to go. The defender was in the backfield, ready to hit him just as soon as the handoff was made. That's Karan Hafiz, freshman from Jacksonville. 2nd time we've called his name here tonight.
And what do you do when you know they're going to run the football, Chris Kiffin? You send your backers and your DBs. You start to blitz to stop the run. And so now the question is, Andy Kotelnicki sees that. Will he throw the ball next time in that situation?
Well, on 3rd down and 1, what do you look for here?
Oh, you got to run the football. There's no question about it. You got to put it on your offensive line. James O'Hagan has blocked everybody in front of him.
Oh! Brandon Manasalvis, I believe. No, that was Mabry, the tight end.
Number 81, 5-year penalty, 3rd down.
A little too anxious.
Boy, I mean, that kills you. Again, pre-snap penalties. You can't have it. You knew what the count was. It was going to be on quick. Not that quick, Mabry. Got to hold your water. That's a big, potentially huge play in this ball game.
All right, so instead of 3rd and 1, 3rd and 6, what do you expect
now
here?
Is the opportunity for the play-action pass. I think you got to throw the football here. And I'm looking for 83, and I'm looking for 81 because they've been there all day.
Clock still running, down to 4.5 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. Drew Anderson fires, incomplete. No flags, good coverage on the play. That'll bring up 4th down thanks to the defense of Raekwon Williams.
You say good coverage, I say great coverage. And again, no pass interference.
4th and 6.
It's a great job. He stayed exactly where he wanted to be, inside out. The ball wasn't the most well-thrown ball you've seen. But the defense does its job, holds on 3rd down, and now UB has to punt the football.
And now it'll be up to UB's defense and FAU's offense.
But go back to the penalty, though, Doug. That's really what killed that drive.
Kyle DeWeen's punt takes a bounce and goes right by the return man, Henry Bussey. And so Buffalo will give it back to the Owls at the 9-yard line. It's a 52-yard punt.
Remember Jacob Martinez making that mistake earlier in the game and not fielding that punt? Come up and field this punt.
Now, if the return man's not sure he can secure it cleanly, isn't it wiser to step out of the way?
Yes, but you practice this every single day. That ball was kicked right to him. What are you looking at? I mean, if you need to, you can wave your hand for the Fed catch, but that ball was kicked right to you. It's not like you're running with your feet outside of balance and, you're getting away from your body. That ball was kicked right to him. Step up, make that play, and fall forward for a few yards. Instead, you let that thing hit the ground, and now you lose almost 20 yards.
90 yards away from taking the lead, FAU gives it to their scat back.
Driscoll's pass complete to Singletary.
Devin Singletary. Able to get out of bounds? No, they say he was down inbounds.
Wow, really?
Clock still running. No, the official signaled that it should have stopped, but as you see, the clock continues to run under 4. Jason Driscoll's been the quarterback from the start for FAU. He threw a strike, incomplete. Willie Wright.
My goodness, Willie. My goodness. Got to catch that football. Again, wasn't the greatest throw. He could have laid it out there a little bit further and caught his guy in stride, but that's a catchable football in a meaningful time of the game. Wow, he kind of outran the pass. You got to adjust, make the catch, and just keep running. Boy, that hurts. That hurts for FAU.
Quick swing pass. Singletary, can he make something happen? No, tripped up at the 15-yard line. Devin Russell made the big tackle.
What an effort.
It's a 3 and out.
I'm sorry. I'm so excited about this, though. What a play by Russell. He's getting blocked on the perimeter. Watch him use his hands, come off the block, leave his feet while still being blocked, and click the heels. I mean, that had a chance to get the first down. What a great play. Now it's 4th down. What a heck of a play right there by Devin Russell.
And they're going for it. This could be the football game. 4th down, 3 yards to go. They've got to get out near the 20. They give us to Singletary, and he doesn't get there.
Well, he fell forward. Let's see that spot.
Well, the side judge came in, and based on his angle, I think they're about a foot or two short. Let's see where the spot is.
How about the call, though?
I don't think he got there.
Yeah, I think you're right. He looks a little short there.
Chris Ford was in on the tackle for the Bulls.
Might be less than a foot. Here comes the chain gang.
How about the call, though? Not punting the ball. Oh. Was that a good spot? Look at me.
Hard to tell
forward
from there.
I don't know about the spot. Clearly didn't get it by where they spotted it, but it looked to me to be a really tough spot because he fell forward. That ball appeared to get really close, if not past the first down marker.
Well, the reality is for FAU, if they can get a stop here and hold them to a field goal, they could get the football back down 6 and have a little bit of time.
That's a great point. I'm still sitting here thinking, was that the right call to go for it at all? You could punt the ball. Your defense has played well in the second half. You're playing a field position game. Now you have to play defense for 19 yards. That makes it a lot tougher.
Let's see if we can read lips.
Yeah.
Good job. We can get them off.
All 3 timeouts,
All 3
he said.
timeouts.
Yeah.
So that's the plan, but first you've got to have somebody make a play on defense. Buffalo's only healthy running back.
That's a good start.
Emmanuel Reed gets nowhere. Timeout FAU. Herb Miller among those on the tackle.
Well, this is like 9-on-7 now. This is run drill. Everybody knows what time it is in terms of running the football. Miller comes up, gets a piece. Jalen Young gets a piece. Everybody's rallying to the football, trying to pull the ball out. Great job by Reed of holding on to the football. It's high alert. You need 2 hands on the ball in this situation. A turnover would be disastrous.
I got a call for you. You've been high on number 24 all night, Zion Gilbert. He's got 15 tackles, 9 solos, couple for loss. And then the other guy who we've been calling all night, Rashad Smith for FAU, number 7. He's got 12 tackles.
Yeah. And, I mean, that Zion Gilbert, is just a teenager. And he's coming out making play after play after play. And we've called Rashawn Smith number 6 number all day long. He stepped up. We talked about Shire being out, and they really haven't missed him much because of the play of Smith.
2nd and 10. Swallowed up again. Leighton McCarthy.
McCarthy made the tackle, but I'm just telling you, Hunter Snyder made the play. I mean, he jacked up Tyler Mabry at the line of scrimmage. There was no way to run the ball. The ball tried to bounce. He got a little bit on the play. Look at the defensive end on the left side. Boom. Set the edge and come off of it. That's the way you play defensive end now. No movement by the tight end. You tell me if you read where you run the ball. There's a run-through tackle coming from the backside. He tries to bounce. There's nowhere, nothing near. So both defensive ends, McCarthy and Snyder, showed up big right there. But Snyder's 6'7", 260 pounds. They're happy to have him back. He's coming off an injury. Long and very productive player.
Yeah, he missed the Bethune-Cookman game week 3, but was a game captain nonetheless to be involved. Played weeks 1 and 2 and makes a big play here in week 4.
Lane Kiffin singled him out as a guy that they were so happy to have back. He adds stability and a playmaking presence on the corner of that defense up front. Needless to say, huge play here, right?
3rd down and 11. And again from here, we would be talking about a 45, 46, 47-yard field goal, but that's now a moot point. Touchdown, Buffalo, Anthony Johnson.
Love the call. Man coverage on the outside. He's the best football player on the field. And I love the throw. So often you see quarterbacks throw the ball out of bounds here. Look at the placement of the ball. Look at the hand catch. All young receivers need to look at that play. That's how you catch a fade in the back of the end zone. Get your hands up, snag that ball, squeeze it, tuck it away, touchdown.
And I'll tell you, Drew Anderson has played brilliantly at quarterback here in the second half, replacing the injured Tyree Jackson. That is a game-winning type of play right there. And instead of potentially having a field goal to take a 6-point lead, Adam Mitchison's on for a PAT to make it once again a 10-point lead.
They're really behind the 8 ball now, but I'm impressed with Kotelnicki because a lot of times you see offensive coordinators try to get cute in this situation. And when you have an exciting and super football player on the outside, you don't need to get cute. You got a hot quarterback. You trust him. You got man coverage on the outside. Give him a chance to make a play for you. Great route. Little push off at the end, but real subtle push off. I learned that from the greatest show on turf, watching all of my teammates get little subtle push offs. If you notice, he pushed down and not out. And that's what the really good receivers do. If you extend that arm and push out, you're going to draw the flag. If you push down at the hip, it's harder for the official to see it. You can create the space you need and make the play.
So you're advocating cheating?
I am advocating making plays. And it wasn't me doing it, okay? First of all, I hate holding by the offensive line. But you give me a great wideout who knows how to push off, I'm going to take him. Now, if I'm on the defensive side, I'm yelling at the officials.
Big play by Anthony Johnson, 3rd touchdown of the year for the redshirt junior from Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Isaac Bruce taught me that. Push down and not out, and you get yourself the space you need. Great job right there by number 83, Anthony Johnson.
He certainly would know. Well, no one happier in the building than Tyree Jackson that his understudy has played so well in the second half.
Yeah, you got to feel for the guy, but he's showing some leadership right now. He's staying engaged. That's what you want to see. They know he's the future of the program, and tough play for him to get hurt, but I like the way he's staying in the ballgame. He's not sulking over by himself, worrying about himself and feeling bad for himself. He understands this is a team game, and he's in it for his teammates. He's feeling good for Anderson. Anderson has had to play the understudy, but you got to love him and how he's come in and played, and he deserves kudos for it. I mean, that was a great ball to put his team up by 2 scores.
And let's hope for Tyree Jackson as FAU runs on 1st down with Devin Singletary. Let's hope that part of that smile is that perhaps he's gotten a good initial diagnosis about whatever caused him to miss the second half.
Yeah, make no mistake, as well as Anderson played, they want to have both quarterbacks healthy as they go through this MAC schedule.
There's a 1st down and a form tackle after a big gain. Nice job by Tim Roberts, the senior strong safety from Hanville, Louisiana. But it's a first down for FAU if it stands with a flag on the field.
Zone coverage, cover 2. That ball has to be zipped in between the corner and the safety, and it is zipped in. And you got to be able to take a hit. They're tough guys on the outside, too. You got to be tough to play wide receiver. I know you don't think of wide receivers as being tough guys, but
Illegal formation, offense, number 73, line up in the backfield. Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense. Those fouls offset. Replay, first down.
wow. Both head coaches have got to be upset there, because if you didn't do their foul, the other one would count for the other team, right?
Yep. On top of the fact that Driscoll and McNeil hooked up for a long pass that would have been a first down.
Yeah.
Little touch pass to Willie Wright on the jet sweep. He makes his way out near the 50-yard line. Clock continues to run once they reset the chains for the first down.
You called it. That is not a running play. That is a pass.
Driscoll, before the chains could get set, trying to make something happen, and he does. Pass complete to Tavares Harrison. It's another Owls first down.
Now be careful, Harrison. You don't want to run backwards, especially when the clock is an issue. You want to take what you can get down, let's stop the clock, and go line up. How about Driscoll, though? How cool was he on that play?
Buffalo calls a timeout.
Now watch Driscoll. He's going to be looking for a slant. Right here, he's looking to throw it. It's not there. Watch the cool mentality he's got there. Doesn't panic, extends the play, and throws a very catchable ball against his body, drifting left, throwing back right. That was beautiful.
Now, he is one of the most accurate passers in FAU history, and he's had himself a solid game here tonight.
This game is not over by any means. If you're Buffalo, you got to make a play on defense to save this game. There's no question about it. It is not over. FAU is too explosive. They can make a play, and they can make a touchdown in one play from where they are on the field. And then it becomes this onside kick situation, and anything can happen. I'm not wishful thinking. That's how football games are won in the end by the team that keeps their head about it.
There's Lane Kiffin, the first-year head coach of Florida Atlantic. 42-year-old who, as we mentioned, lived a couple of years here in Buffalo as he was growing up while his dad Monty was an assistant coach for the Buffalo Bills. Back in Western New York for the first time since he was the head coach of the Raiders nearly a decade ago.
Buffalo is in a soft, too deep zone. I always felt like in these situations, the middle of the field will be open to you. And in college football, the clock will stop.
Driscoll again avoids the first rush and then just throws it out of bounds.
Pass rush is heating up, though. That's a good sign for Buffalo.
Yeah, Khalil Hodge was in the backfield again. Well, Khalil Hodge has only one career sack. It came against Army last year. But he is a tackling machine.
Look how thick he is in the hips. Plays low, good leverage.
On 2nd and 10, that's an FAU first down to the 25-yard line. 1:37 on the clock, and that'll continue to run once the chains get set.
And that's a play you'll never see in the NFL because of the rules, the clock stopping momentarily. That's a great call.
Driscoll finds the open man. It's McNeil. Did he secure it the whole way? It looked like the ball might have been coming loose.
Woo.
But it appears he secured it and was down to the 1-yard line. 1:26 on the clock.
See, this game's not over. Like I said, both teams got to finish this game.
Put the ball down. Screams Kiffin to the officials. Singletary lowers the shoulder. Owls touchdown. Game's not over.
Wow. I wasn't sure, and you own it.
Well, I saw the near line judge signal right away.
And look at the finish him. Watch him finish this run. Look at the drive. You think he doesn't want to win this game? He's not quitting. He doesn't think it's over. Buffalo played defensively on that last drive like they thought they had the game won. That's a problem. You got to finish in order to win games like this. FAU came to win, and that's evident.
And so the excellent Greg Joseph back out for the point after. He has not missed in 3 years on a PAT, and he makes it once again a 3-point game.
Well, we know he can kick field goals. He can kick extra points. He can kick off deep through the end zone. Now we're going to see if he can execute an onside kick. I mean, that's an art. It's a science to it. And so we're going to see how good a kicker he really is at all facets.
Well, he is FAU's all-time leading scorer. Grew up in Johannesburg, South Africa, but played his high school football at American Heritage in Florida. Actually was primarily a soccer player, not surprisingly, until his senior year when the football coach talked him into coming out and playing a little football. And now 5 years later, he is one of the best in the country.
That conversation between soccer players and head football coaches happens all around the country every fall. There's always a guy that you want to get on your football team who's a soccer player primarily, because they become excellent kickers and punters for that matter.
FAU out of Conference USA, a slight underdog in this game. Trying to pull off a bit of a miracle. They were down 10 a moment ago.
Now they've got two kickers lining up. They're going to try to fool UB. We don't know who's going to kick the ball.
It was the punter who kicked it. Buffalo appears to have secured it off the foot of Ryan Rickle. And indeed, it's the Bulls who have it.
A little drama there for a split second as there was a double catch on the reception. Watch the ball hit off the hands. He drives the ball into the ground. There's no fair catch because he drives the ball in the ground. Now right there, hey, you needed someone hitting the receiver right there. There was nobody there to take a shot at the UB player trying to receive the onside kick, and he was able to corral the ball in. And
yeah, Tito Overton on the hands team, redshirt freshman, able to pull it in. So now with only one timeout remaining for FAU, Buffalo should be able to close this thing out.
Yeah, this is a kneel down situation. This is where all offensive coordinators love to see it, right here.
Victory formation.
There you go.
And it's appropriate that the backup quarterback gets to secure that football a couple of more times. Drew Anderson has been outstanding.
Yeah, I mean,
so the Owls burn their final timeout with the injury to Tyree Jackson. Still don't know how bad it is for him as he watches on crutches. Buffalo's gotten a terrific performance out of Drew Anderson, really his first college football game. Former San Diego State Aztec who never played for SDSU. Played one snap last year against Bowling Green last November.
Yeah.
Number 3 on the depth chart last year, number 2 on the depth chart this year. And you know how it goes in football. You are one snap away from getting out there, and that occurred here in week 4, and he has delivered.
So we knew Johnson was going to be a heck of a player in this game. We talked about that at the beginning. We just didn't know Drew Anderson was going to come in and play well. We didn't know he's going to have to come in. So, you might want to give the game ball to Johnson, but I'm saying Anderson really came in and saved the day. Played really well.
Anderson 7 of 9 passing, 109 yards and a touchdown.
And the key there, no turnovers from your backup quarterback. Generally, when your backup quarterback comes in the game, the chances of winning goes down.
Yeah, I'd give it to him. I mean, Johnson, real good, 6 receptions, 87 yards and the touchdown. Of course, the running game for Buffalo has been real solid. Reed with 107 yards, but Lance Leipold's got to feel good about this except for the injury to his quarterback.
Sure. This thing could have got away from him, though, when that backup quarterback came in the game, and it didn't because the offensive line stood up. The running game was there all day. And Anderson was very efficient and protective with the football.
Lance Leipold, the third-year head coach, goes and congratulates his junior quarterback, California kid who takes down Lane Kiffin's FAU Owls.
Yeah, he knew that kid saved the day for him. He deserved that pat on the back right there in that hug.
Final score 34-31. Buffalo defeats FAU to close out the non-conference for both of these teams. So the Owls drop to 1-3, and well, the Bulls, who won only 2 games all of last year, have 2 and counting this year.
2 in a row. And we said that one of these teams was going to be streaking going into conference play. Something had to give. And you got to be impressed the way the entire team lifted together after Jackson went out. The running game is there for Buffalo. It's a huge part of what they do. I said at the top they had to run the ball well to be effective. They did that. And they found out that their backup quarterback is ready. And you can lean on him to make some plays, and that throw to put him up by 10 at the end of the game was beautiful.
But you can't avoid the real problem for Buffalo going forward. Tyree Jackson at quarterback out injured. Jonathan Hawkins, their starting running back, didn't play at all because of injury tonight. And then Theo Anderson in the 4th quarter injured and left the ball game. So good Saturday night at the moment for Buffalo. We'll see how those injuries develop in the days ahead. For Tioka Jackson, I'm Doug Sherman saying so long from Buffalo. Once again, our final score, Bulls 34, Owls 31. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live on the ESPN app. Or to watch this entire game on replay, as well as other games on the ESPN networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.